Chapter 607. You're also a spirit reader master. The undead clan member's expression changed, and he struggled desperately. When he finally broke free from the invisible force binding him, Su Chen was already in front of him. A pitch-black sword slashed down from the sky. Space was instantly torn apart, and a black vortex that was around 3 meters in size appeared. It turned slightly and enveloped the undead clan member. In the horrifying sound of bones breaking, the undead clan member let out a cry of despair, and then his whole body was torn into pieces. Suddenly, hundreds of shining fragments slowly fell from the sky. Su Chen collected the fragments and quickly returned to the original place. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi saw that the danger was over and walked down from the intelligent war chariot. Coming to Su Chen's side, Chen Feng asked softly, "Brother Su, is there anything we need to do?" "You guys deal with that big tiger," Su Chen replied. That colorful tiger was a level 8 mutated beast. Normal people wouldn't be able to deal with it. And he still had something to ask the southern barbarian Holy Lord, so he let Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi do it. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi didn't say anything. They walked forward and began to deal with the colorful tiger's body. "Senior, do you think a level 10 cultivator would be a match for junior brother Su?" Xia Jingyi asked softly as she cut the tiger's skin. Chen Feng stopped what he was doing and looked at Su Mo with admiration. He sighed and said, "Junior brother Su has so many trump cards, especially the incarnation technique that he used at the end. It's so powerful that a normal level 10 cultivator would not be a match for him. I'm afraid that only those level 10 cultivators would be able to compete with him." Hearing this, Xia Jingyi was stunned. She clicked her tongue and said, "If that's the case, wouldn't junior brother Su be the strongest person below the sage stage?" Thinking that Su Chen was only 17 years old and was only level 7, Xia Jingyi's breathing almost stopped. Chen Feng nodded. Even if junior brother Su isn't the strongest person below the sage stage, there wouldn't be more than 5 people who could defeat him. Su Chen was still very young. There was unlimited room for improvement. Once he reached level 9, no one below saint level would be his match. "Senior brother, do you think that with junior brother Su's talent, it's already impossible for him to advance to the saint stage?" Xia Jingyi asked softly. The main reason why the human race was weak was that no one had reached the saint level in the past 10,000 years. This time, the status of the human race was getting lower and lower. If Su Chen could advance to the saint level, he would definitely change the situation of the human race. Perhaps, it would even be possible for the human race to regain its glory 10,000 years ago. Thinking up to this point, Xia Jingyi started to look forward to Su Chen. Saint level? Chen Feng's expression froze as he exchanged glances with Xia Jingyi. In the past 10,000 years, the human race had not produced a new saint, but with Su Chen's talent, he was very confident. Seemingly having seen through the other party's thoughts, Chen Feng and Zhang Xian were astonished. On the other side, Su Chen had already begun interrogating the sacred lord of Nanman. "Tell me, why are you and the undead race chasing after me?" Su Chen still didn't understand this point. Logically speaking, he killed the sacred lord of Bai, which could be considered as helping the sacred lord of Nanman. Even if the other party didn't thank him, they shouldn't be chasing after him. The sacred lord of Nanman glanced at Su Chen. His eyes were full of contempt. He ignored Su Chen's words and kept his mouth shut. Seeing this, Su Chen rubbed his nose and called out to Chao Ran, "Chao Ran, torture him." The best way to deal with a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water was to resort to torture. Chapter 608. Chao Ran quickly approached and asked for Su Chen's opinion before he started. "Chingu, do you want to gouge out his eyeballs first or cut him into 1,000 pieces?" Su Chen glanced at the southern barbarian Holy Lord with a cold glint in his eyes. He said in a low voice, "Cut him into 1,000 pieces." "Understood." Chao Ran licked his lips and took out the netherworld dagger. Because of his previous experience, his movements were very skillful. In the blink of an eye, he cut off a thin piece of flesh from the southern barbarian Holy Lord. The southern barbarian Holy Lord was a level 9 powerhouse, but he was only a spirit reader master. his body was only slightly stronger than an ordinary person. If it was a level 9 evolver, Chao Ran wouldn't be able to do anything. Su Chen looked on coldly and quietly appreciated the scene. Chao Ran had no other thoughts. He put all his attention on the dagger and carefully cut the flesh. Sizzle, with the sound of flesh being cut, there were hundreds of pieces of flesh piled up on the ground. The southern barbarian Holy Lord's entire right arm was badly mutilated and dripping with blood. It looked extremely horrifying. When Qin Feng and Xia Jingyi saw this, their scalps went numb. Although they had killed many people, it was the first time they saw such a method of cutting flesh. They couldn't help but feel disgusted. As for the southern barbarian Holy Lord, he could still grit his teeth and endure at first. But as the flesh on his body was cut off piece by piece, his mental defense finally collapsed. He roared angrily at Su Chen, "Human, you're a devil. If you have the ability, give me a quick death." Su Chen curled his lips and said mockingly, "I still have 99 ways to torture people. Cutting them into 1,000 pieces is just the appetizer. You must hold on. There are 99 other ways to torture people?" The southern barbarian Holy Lord's face completely changed. If he could, he really wanted to die. However, his mental strength had already collapsed, and he was under the control of Su Chen. Even if he wanted to die, he could not. He could only watch as his flesh was cut off piece by piece. Not many people could withstand this kind of torture. Even he, who had reached level 9, could not withstand it. After Chao Ran finished cutting off the flesh on the South Barbarian's Sacred Lord's arm, he turned to the South Barbarian's Sacred Lord's face. Buzz. With a slight sound of flesh being pierced, a long bloody wound appeared on the Southern Barbarian's Sacred Lord's face. Bright red blood flowed out and dyed half of his face red. Chao Ran waved the dagger in his hand as a cruel smile appeared on his face. Then he struck again. Buzz. A large piece of flesh fell off the Sacred Lord's face. The intense pain deeply stimulated the Southern Barbarian's Sacred Leader's nerves. At this moment he finally couldn't bear it and roared, "Stop, I'll talk. And here I was wondering how tough your bones were." Su Chen snorted and motioned for Chao Ran to stop. Chao Ran spat and stood up beside Su Chen. However, he still stared at the Southern Barbarian's Sacred Lord. If the Southern Barbarian's Sacred Lord did not know what was good for him, he would continue to torture him. "Our ancestor told me to kill you." The Southern Barbarian's Sacred Lord was like a deflated balloon as he spoke weakly. "What's the background of your ancestor?" Su Chen asked in a deep voice. The Southern Barbarian's Sacred Lord was the strongest person in the Imperial Beast continent. If the ancestor could order him around, he must have a strong background. "Our ancestor is an existence beyond level 10. The Southern Barbarian's Sacred Lord replied truthfully. "Saint level?" Su Chen was shocked. Although he had never fought with a saint-level powerhouse, he knew very well that with his current strength, he was definitely not a match for a saint-level powerhouse. Chapter 609. Why did your ancestor send you to kill me? Su Chen asked with a frown. Logically speaking, he had kept a low profile in the Imperial Beast continent and had not massacred anyone. How did he attract the wrath of the Imperial Beast continent's ancestor? Because you killed the sacred leader of Bai. The sacred leader of Nanman replied and then explained, "The sacred leader of Bai and I are the ancestor's direct disciples. We were arranged by him to manage the Imperial Beast continent. You killed the ancestor's people, so he naturally wants to take revenge on you." The sacred leader of Nanman's explanation was more thorough, but he also mentioned his identity intentionally or unintentionally. His purpose was to tell Su Chen that he was the direct disciple of a saint-level powerhouse. Would he still dare to kill him? Hearing this, Su Chen pondered. The dignity of a saint-level powerhouse was not to be blasphemed. He killed the direct disciple of a saint-level powerhouse, so it was reasonable for him to be retaliated against. However, he did not understand. Since the sacred leader of Nanman was already angry, why didn't he kill him himself? Wouldn't that be more confident? Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked calmly, "Why didn't your ancestor do it himself?" The sacred leader of Nanman hesitated for a moment. His eyes rolled and he replied, The ancestor is at the critical moment of breaking through in seclusion. He won't delay his cultivation for someone like you. Is that so? Su Chen narrowed his eyes. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Indeed, the sacred leader of Nanman's words were somewhat convincing. However, judging from his expression, he vaguely felt that the sacred leader of Nanman was not telling the truth. Of course it's true. I have no reason to lie to you. The sacred leader of Nanman vowed solemnly. Su Chen curled his lips and winked at Chao Ran. Chao Ran understood tacitly. He took out his dagger and cut again. The sacred leader of Nanman screamed and begged Su Chen for mercy. Senior, what I said is true. Su Chen turned a deaf ear and remained unmoved. Whether it was true or not, he did not lose anything anyway. Old thing, if you don't tell the truth, I'll torture you to death. Chao Ran cursed as he waved his blade. In just a short while, half of the southern barbarian's sacred lord's face was already badly mutilated. Just as Chao Ran was about to cut the other side of the southern barbarian's sacred master's face, the southern barbarian's sacred master couldn't take it anymore and begged for mercy. Senior, I said I won't lie to you anymore. Su Chen's face darkened and his voice was as cold as ice. This is your last chance. The south barbarian's sacred lord trembled. He gritted his teeth and said, existences above level 10 can't enter the continent as they please. Even if they enter, their cultivation will be suppressed. As soon as he finished speaking, his heart was filled with despair. He had already lost the desire to live. This was because he knew very well that with Su Chen's ruthlessness, he would definitely not let him off after learning about this. Moreover, telling the truth was tantamount to betraying the patriarch. The Beast Tamer clan would no longer have a place on the continent. Their grand ancestor would not let him go either. Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. This news was too important for him. Saint-level powerhouses couldn't enter the continent as they please. Didn't that mean that no matter which continent he was on, he would be in existence that could do whatever he wanted? Of course, whether this news was true or not was not 100% certain. Why can't existences above level 10 enter the continent as they please? Su Chen asked coldly. The sacred lord of the southern barbarian sighed and replied weakly, rumor has it that once an existence above level 10 enters the continent, they will be attacked by the power of the realm. Unless they suppress their cultivation to within level 10, they will be annihilated. Chapter 610. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered. A saint-level existence already knew how to use the power of heaven and earth. Their attack power must have reached a terrifying level. If a saint-level expert fought on the continent, the earth would shatter and the earth would shatter. It would be easy to destroy the entire continent. The planets of all races had existed for tens of thousands of years and had yet to disappear. This showed that the power of the domain did limit the power of a saint-level expert. On the other hand, the Nanman sacred leader was not lying this time. Saint-level experts could not enter the continent at will. To be more precise, they did not dare to enter the continent at will. Outside the continent, they had the power to destroy the world. Once they entered the continent, their cultivation would be suppressed and there was a possibility of being killed. How could a saint-level expert, who had lived for so many years, not risk his life? Why would he risk his life? After figuring out what was going on, there was no need for the Nanman's sacred leader to stay. Su Chen punched out, smashing his head into pieces. Suddenly, a piece of shimmering debris emerged from the Nanman's sacred leader's body. After collecting the debris, Su Chen went straight to Chen Feng and Chen Hao to help them deal with the big multicolored tiger's body. After digging out the energy stones, he dismembered the big multicolored tiger and put it in the storage pouch. Su Chen and the others returned to the intelligent war chariot. After taking out some tiger meat and giving it to Yang Hao to barbecue, Su Chen turned to Chen Feng and said, Brother Chen, do you know the specific location of the transmission formation? Now that they had collected all the level 8 energy stones, it was time to leave the beast continent and return to the human continent. The transmission formation is on an inconspicuous island. I left a mark on it so I can sense it, Chen Feng replied with certainty. This time, he had not only obtained the blood gems but also made friends with a talented super expert like Su Chen. He was satisfied with his harvest and wanted to return to the human continent as soon as possible. Okay, thank you, Brother Chen, for guiding us. Su Chen nodded slightly. It would take about 10 days to reach the transmission formation from here. However, the intelligent war chariot was equipped with blood gems and upgraded to level 7. Its abilities had been greatly enhanced, and its speed had soared to 800 miles per hour. Thus, a journey that would have taken 10 days was completed in only 6 days. When the intelligent chariot arrived at an unknown sea area, Chen Feng reminded him, Su Chen, if we want to cross the sea area and reach the island, we need to make a bigger wooden boat. More than a dozen people and the intelligent war chariot wanted to cross the sea. If the wooden boat was too small, it would not be able to fit them. Su Chen smiled. There's no need to trouble yourself. Just let Satoshi drive us there. Could the MCV sail in the sea? Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were stunned. Su Chen did not explain further. He instructed the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, change form and prepare to enter the sea. Intelligent war chariot responded. Crack, crack, crack. It began to change. In the blink of an eye, it transformed from a war chariot into a silver-white cruise ship. Seeing this, Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi opened their mouths wide and were speechless for a long time. Let's go. Let's get on the ship. Su Chen said and took the lead to set off. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi came back to their senses and followed closely behind. On the ship, Chen Feng walked up to Su Chen and whispered, Brother Su, was your MCV built by Master Wu Yazi? Wu Yazi's refining skills had reached the point of perfection, and he had also once forged an amphibious transportation tool. However, he had never heard of a vehicle that could change form at will like the intelligent war chariot. Chapter 611. Wu Yazi, Su Chen muttered to himself. He seemed to have thought of something and said, Senior Brother Chen, is the Master Wu Yazi you mentioned the one from Xianxia Valley in the Pleasant Wind Dynasty? That's right. Chen Feng replied affirmatively. Then he asked, Brother Su, do you know Master Wu Yazi? Su Chen shook his head and said indifferently, I've only heard of him. He knew about Wu Yazi because Shen Mengfei once said that the primordial spirit sculpting fruit tree was exchanged with Wu Yazi. His main purpose of going to the mysterious heavenly mainland was also for the primordial spirit sculpting fruit tree. If I can return to the mysterious heavenly mainland smoothly, I plan to visit Master Wu Yazi in Xianxia Valley. If Brother Su has a weapon to forge, we can go together, Chen Feng suggested. Not only was Wu Yazi famous in the Pleasant Wind Dynasty, but he could also be considered a top blacksmith in the entire mysterious heavenly mainland. Apart from paying a visit, his trip to Xianxia Valley was more to upgrade his weapon through Wu Yazi. Of course, people like Su Chen who had a saint weapon might not necessarily be interested in Wu Yazi's craftsmanship. He was just casually mentioning it. I happen to want to forge a weapon. I've been wanting to visit Master Wu Yazi for a long time, Su Chen said with a smile. Other than the matter of the primordial spirit sculpting fruit tree, he had to make a trip to Xianxia Valley. He also remembered that he had the demon core of the evil birth fruit tree. He originally wanted to forge it into a weapon. Also, he wanted to see if he could modify the giant yellow sword he took from the Northern Yi's sacred lord. That's great. Then I can travel with Brother Su again. Chen Feng was overjoyed. After interacting with Su Chen for a few days, he deeply understood that Su Chen was definitely a friend worth making. Therefore, he wanted to use this time to get closer to Su Chen. Now that Wu Yazi's matter had come to an end, Su Chen asked, Senior Brother Cheng, which part of the human clan's mainland is the teleportation formation connected to? It would be best if he could directly teleport to the mysterious heavenly mainland. However, if he was teleported to an island outside of the mysterious heavenly mainland, he would have to go through another teleportation before he could enter the mysterious heavenly mainland. This would waste a lot of time. The teleportation location is in a mountain range on Chongshu Island, Chen Feng said. Chongshu Island. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. He had heard about Chongshu Island from Han Sanqian. There was also a teleportation formation on the island that led to the mysterious heavenly mainland. Although he still had to go through another teleportation, It was still pretty good compared to other islands that didn't have a teleportation array. Brother Su, which island is your hometown? Chen Feng asked curiously. He only knew that Su Chen was not from the mysterious heavenly mainland. As for which island he came from, he had never asked. Thousand Feather Island. Su Chen didn't hide it. Thousand Feather Island. Chen Feng muttered, secretly thinking that if he had the opportunity, he must go to Thousand Feather Island to experience it. He wanted to see what kind of island could produce a monster like Su Chen. After that, everyone found a place to rest. The intelligent war chariot sailed in the direction that Chen Feng had pointed out. At noon the next day, they boarded the small island where the teleportation formation was located. Brother Su, the teleportation formation is in the center of the small island. We have to walk there, Chen Feng reminded him. The small island was not very big, but there were many mountains and rocks. There was no road at all. The intelligent war chariot could not pass through. No need to trouble yourself. You can guide the way and let Satoshi fly us there, Su Chen said lightly. He had not flown the intelligent war chariot since it was activated. He had long wanted to see it, and now was the perfect opportunity. Chapter 612. Fly over? At this moment, Chen Feng was dumbfounded. Su Chen didn't explain much and ordered the intelligent chariot, Satoshi, turn on the flying function. The intelligent chariot received the order, and with a click, it changed from a cruise ship to a spaceship. That's awesome. Seeing that the intelligent chariot had changed into a new form, everyone was amazed. Let's go. Su Chen was the first to board the spaceship. The others followed behind Su Chen. Can it fly? Chen Feng was still a little uncertain. The interior of the intelligent chariot that had transformed into a spaceship didn't change much. Su Chen glanced at it casually and ordered, Satoshi, take off. With a whoosh, the intelligent chariot quickly flew into the air. It can really fly. Seeing that it was really in the air, Chen Feng took a deep breath, and the surprise on his face didn't dissipate for a long time. Brother Chen, you lead the way. Seeing that Chen Feng was a little stunned, Su Chen smiled and reminded him. Chen Feng reacted and walked to the window. After glancing down, he reached out and pointed in a direction. It's in the cave in the belly of the mountain. The intelligent chariot turned on the search function, easily locked the specific location and flew over. 10 minutes later, the intelligent chariot flew outside the cave and slowly descended. Brother Su, what about your MCV after entering the teleportation formation? Chen Feng reminded him at this moment. The teleportation formation could only carry a dozen people at a time, and a big guy like the intelligent chariot couldn't fit it at all. If it was an ordinary MCV, he would simply throw it away. However, the intelligent chariot was obviously not an ordinary MCV. Not only could it speak, but it also had its own thoughts, and it was a tri-purpose vehicle. How could Su Chen abandon such a treasure? Su Chen smiled. The intelligent chariot could change its size at will, so this problem was not a problem at all. Just as he was about to explain to Chen Feng, the intelligent war chariot suddenly said, Master, there is a very strange creature in the cave. Su Chen was shocked and asked anxiously, what kind of creature is it? The cave was where the teleportation array was located. Once it was destroyed, they wouldn't be able to return to the human continent in a short time. His body exudes a very evil aura, but this aura is not something that creatures of the infinite world have, so I can't distinguish it, the intelligent war chariot explained. Su Chen frowned and pondered for a moment. Then he quickly opened the door and rushed out. No matter what kind of creature it was, he would never allow the teleportation array to be destroyed. Originally, he wanted to enter the cave as soon as possible to stop them. Unexpectedly, just as he got out of the car, a burly figure came out of the cave. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced over. His eyelids twitched involuntarily. This burly figure had the same 4 limbs and body as a human, but his head was very strange. It was like an octopus, with tentacles constantly waving. As for those scarlet eyes, they were emitting a chilling light, causing one to tremble with fear upon seeing them. Su Chen had never seen such a strange creature before, So he asked Chen Feng, "Senior brother Chen, have you seen such a creature before?" Chen Feng shook his head with a solemn expression. When Su Chen was about to communicate with this strange creature, the flaming phoenix's signal suddenly came from the pet-raising space. Su Chen quickly opened the pet-raising space and asked, "What's the matter, flaming phoenix?" The flaming phoenix said anxiously, "Master, he is a void beast." Chapter 613. It's a beast of the void. Su Chen's expression froze. He more or less understood the beast of the void from the flaming phoenix and the gold-devouring beetles. The beast of the void was extremely powerful. It was almost impossible for cultivators of the same level to compete with it. However, there was one thing that he found very strange. The beast of the void lived in the void. How did it break through the boundaries of the myriad tribes and enter the beast-tamer continent? With doubts in his heart, Su Chen asked the flaming phoenix, "Flaming, how do you think this beast of the void entered here?" "Master, it should have been brought here by someone." The flaming phoenix replied with uncertainty. Then it explained, "This beast of the void has no aura of life. It seems to be a puppet." Puppet? Su Chen's heart froze. He did not doubt the flaming phoenix's words at all. After all, the flaming phoenix had entered the void battleground and had come into contact with the beast of the void. It could definitely determine whether the beast of the void was dead or alive. Then who had the ability to refine a beast of the void into a puppet and bring it to the beast-tamer continent? Could it be? Su Chen suddenly thought of someone, and his expression changed abruptly. Then he shifted his gaze to the beast of the void and said in a low voice, "Ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe, if I'm not wrong, this puppet should be yours, right?" "What? He's the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe?" As soon as Su Chen finished speaking, the expressions of the people on the intelligent war chariot changed drastically. They were all terrified and uneasy. The ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe was an existence that surpassed level 10. If he really appeared here, none of them would be able to survive. "Human, not only are you powerful, but you're also very meticulous. You're a rare talent." The beast of the void praised first, then its eyes flashed with a fierce light. It snorted coldly and said, "However, you dare to slaughter my people. You don't know what's good for you. So what if I kill your people? What can you do to me? Do you dare to fight me?" Su Chen had already recovered from his initial shock. Facing the threat of the great ancestor of the beast-taming clan, he sneered contemptuously and retaliated. It was true that the ancestor of the beast-taming tribe was a saint-level powerhouse, but as soon as he entered the continent, his cultivation level would be suppressed to below the saint level. If anyone below the saint level wanted to kill him, they would have to gang up on him. It was impossible for one person to do it alone. Furthermore, what appeared before him was not the true body of the ancestor of the beast-tamer clan. Instead, it was just a puppet that had been entrusted with a primordial spirit, so its strength would definitely drop by a level. He was even less afraid. "Junior apprentice brother Su, you're really crazy." Hearing this, Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were speechless. Su Chen was probably the only person in the world who dared to speak to a saint-level powerhouse in such a tone. The fury in the patriarch of the beast-tamer tribe's heart had reached its peak. His eyes were filled with endless killing intent. Being looked down upon by a level 7 cultivator was a great humiliation to him. At this moment, he wanted nothing more than to rip out Su Chen's tendons and skin him alive to vent the anger in his heart. However, he also knew that a puppet's body would not be able to do anything to Su Chen, so he was not in a hurry to act. "Human, don't be too arrogant. Although I can't kill you for now, I can destroy the teleportation formation here and all the interworld passageways to the beast-taming clan's continent, trapping you here for good." The patriarch of the beast-taming clan seemed to have grasped Su Chen's Achilles heel. He laughed wildly without restraint. Hearing this, Su Chen fell silent. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan's method was extremely vicious, and it was what he did not want to see the most. Chapter 614. Tell me, what do you want? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and asked coldly. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan did not attack him, nor did he destroy the transmission formation immediately. Instead, he explained the benefits to him. There must be a purpose behind this. I like to deal with smart people. The great ancestor of the beast-taming tribe smiled sinisterly and continued, as long as you submit to me, not only will I not make things difficult for you, but I will also give you more cultivation resources and guarantee your safe return to the human continent. Is this old thing an idiot? On the intelligent war chariot, Yang Hao and the others were indignant. What kind of person was Su Chen? He was a super genius with extraordinary talent. He was also an invincible killing god. It was wishful thinking to ask Su Chen to submit to others. Submit to you? Su Chen smiled foolishly and said sarcastically, "Do you think you're worthy?" He had made up his mind. If the patriarch of the beast-taming clan dared to talk nonsense again, even if he could not return to the human continent for the time being, he would destroy this puppet of the patriarch of the beast-taming clan. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan gnashed his teeth in anger. But in the end, he suppressed his anger and sneered, "Human, are you really not worried about being trapped here forever? Stop threatening me. Why don't you try to trap me?" Su Chen did not like his bad habit. He raised his voice and scolded him. If the patriarch of the beast-taming clan dared to do that, he would slaughter everyone on the beast-taming continent. At most, he would fight to the death. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan was not angry. Instead, he laughed and said, "Boy, you've got guts. This ancestor likes people like you." The patriarch of the beast-taming clan changed the topic. Su Chen was a little confused. "Human, since you don't want to submit to me, I have a compromise," the patriarch of the beast-taming clan continued. "Let's hear it." Su Chen curled the corner of his mouth and said coldly. He could guess that the patriarch of the beast-taming clan's so-called compromise was definitely not a good idea. "Leave your gold-devouring beetle behind, and I'll let you leave safely." The ancestor of the imperial beast tribe glanced at Su Chen and said in a deep voice, "You want my spiritual pet?" Su Chen's face darkened, and a flame of anger burned in his chest. At this moment, he was fully aware that the patriarch of the beast-tamer clan had been bluffing. His real objective was the gold-devouring beetles. The metal-devouring beetle was a level 8 insect beast with extremely powerful combat strength. It was one of Su Chen's main trump cards. Would he give it away? Not to mention the old ancestor of the beast-taming tribe asking for the gold-devouring beetles, even if it was the 3 mutated wolves, he would still not agree. Seeing that Su Chen was silent, the patriarch of the beast-taming clan said with a smile, "It's just a level 8 insect beast. With your ability, it's easy for you to tame a level 8 spiritual pet." "Hee," Su Chen smiled contemptuously and said, "You want to hit on my spiritual pet? You can give up." As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly performed the Atlas shape-shifting skill. When his body rose to a height of 30 meters, a small 5-colored mountain suddenly appeared in his hand. Then, a purple light flashed under his feet, and he charged toward the patriarch of the beast-taming clan. How dare the patriarch of the beast-taming clan covet his spiritual pet? This was a taboo. No matter what, he had to teach the patriarch of the beast-taming clan a lesson today. Seeing that Su Chen was charging toward him like a madman, the patriarch of the beast-taming clan was so angry that the corner of his mouth twitched. However, before he could curse, a small mountain came crashing down on his head. A divine weapon. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan was shocked. If it were his original body, he could send this small mountain flying with just a finger. However, this void beast puppet was only level 8. It was not enough to fight against a divine weapon. He could not defeat it, but he would not sit still and wait for death. He gathered all his strength and threw a punch. Chapter 6:15. There was a loud bang. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan was sent flying. He crashed into the stone wall behind him and sank deep into it. Su Chen withdrew the primary 5 extremes mountain and did not continue to attack. The reason why he attacked was not only to vent his anger, but also to intimidate the patriarch of the beast-taming clan. Clatter, as a large number of rocks fell from the stone wall, the patriarch of the beast-taming clan struggled out of the stone wall. "Kid, you're much stronger than I thought." The patriarch of the beast-taming clan stared at Su Chen with a grave expression. Su Chen was already strong enough. With the sacred weapon, his strength had increased tremendously, making him even more difficult to deal with. "Do you still want to ask me for the spiritual pet now?" Su Chen sneered. "You can choose not to give it to me, but don't even think about leaving here alive." The patriarch of the beast-taming clan threatened and continued, "I'll trap you here and invite level 9 or level 10 powerhouses from other clans to kill you. If one of them can't kill you, I'll invite 10 of them. If 10 of them can't kill you, I'll invite 20. No matter how strong you are, you'll only die if you're surrounded by so many powerhouses." Su Chen pondered after hearing that. As a sage-level patriarch of the beast-taming clan, he could indeed invite some level 9 or level 10 powerhouses. However, by then, he would be in an extremely passive position. There was a high possibility that he would be surrounded and killed. However, it was impossible for him to force him to hand over the gold-devouring beetles just because of that. "If you dare to do that, I'll slaughter all of your clansmen. You should know that with my strength, it won't be difficult for me to do that." Su Chen sneered fearlessly. He wasn't being an alarmist when he said that. He could continuously increase his strength by exploding fragments. The more beast-taming clan members he killed, the more fragments he would drop, and the stronger his strength would be. In addition, he had many tricks up his sleeve. He was very confident that he could wipe out the beast-taming clan. Of course, he would not choose to do that unless he had no other choice. After all, the people in the intelligent war chariot were too weak. If the patriarch of the beast-tamer clan insisted on taking action, he would not be able to protect them at all. Seeing that Su Chen was going to fight to the death, the patriarch of the beast-tamer tribe hesitated. He had personally experienced Su Chen's strength. Once Su Chen went crazy, none of his clansmen would be able to resist him. It was very likely that they would all be slaughtered. Naturally, he did not wish to see such a situation. However, after coming all the way here, not only did he not get any benefits, he was even humiliated and threatened by Su Chen. If he allowed Su Chen to leave, how could he be willing? "Human, if you want to leave this place, you have to leave something behind, don't you think?" the ancestor of the beast-tamer clan said in a deep voice. "What other benefits do you want?" Su Chen said indifferently. Su Chen did not continue to provoke the patriarch of the beast-taming clan when he saw that he was willing to compromise. "Leave the giant sword of the Northern E sacred leader." After all, it originally belonged to the beast-taming clan. The patriarch of the beast-taming clan said bluntly. That giant yellow sword was a sacred weapon. Its value was immeasurable. Naturally, Su Chen was reluctant to part with it. He coughed softly and said, "A mere weapon is nothing. How about I give you something else in exchange?" Seeing that Su Chen seemed to have compromised, the patriarch of the beast-taming clan was tempted. He said, "What is it? Tell me about it." Su Chen pursed his lips slightly. He pretended to be profound and said, "As long as the beast-taming clan members don't provoke me in the future, I won't kill them." Chapter 616. This was a benefit? This was clearly a F*** threat. The patriarch of the beast-taming tribe was enraged. He roared, "Human, are you going to fight me to the death?" He had already made a huge concession, but he did not expect Su Chen to still be toying with him. This was intolerable. Su Chen explained with a smile, "You can ask around. How many mutated tribes have died in my hands? Not to mention the beast-taming tribe, I can even slaughter the 5 super tribes as I wish. You should be aware of my talent. It'll be a piece of cake for me to advance to the sacred level. By then, who will be my opponent? Who can stop me? As long as there's a tribe that I don't like, I'll wipe them out completely. So, do you still think the benefits I offered are child's play?" At this point, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at the patriarch of the beast-taming tribe, waiting for his reply. At this moment, the patriarch of the beast-taming tribe was stunned. Originally, he was here to make things difficult for Su Chen. Why did he become so passive after hearing Su Chen's words? Admittedly, Su Chen was a little arrogant, but what he said was not an alarmist. With Su Chen's talent, it was highly possible for him to advance to the sacred level. Once he advanced to the sacred level, there were very few people who could suppress him. At that time, he did not even know if he could survive, let alone deal with Su Chen. Thinking of this, the patriarch of the beast-taming tribe was a little hesitant and uneasy. This was a great opportunity to kill Su Chen. If he missed it, he might not have another chance. If he wanted to kill Su Chen, he would have to pay a terrible price. Moreover, he was not 100% confident that he could kill Su Chen. If he let Su Chen go, he would be a fatal threat to him when Su Chen grew stronger. After pondering for a long time, the patriarch of the beast-taming tribe said, "I can let you go. However, other than the benefits you mentioned earlier, there's another condition." "Tell me about it," Su Chen said calmly. "You have to swear that everything that happened today will be written off. If you ever see me in the future, you can't find trouble with me for no reason, let alone kill me." The ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe said bluntly. Everyone on the intelligent war chariot was dumbfounded. A saint-level master actually wanted a level 7 cultivator to swear not to kill him in the future? Wasn't this too inconceivable? What they didn't know was that the ancestor of the beast-tamer clan was actually planning ahead. He had long seen Su Chen's potential, and it was only a matter of time before Su Chen advanced to the saint rank. This was also a way out for himself. As for asking Su Chen to swear an oath, it seemed like a child's play, but it was not. The vows of cultivators all contained a certain amount of the will of the Heaven Tao. Once one went against it, not to mention suffering the wrath of the heavens, it would surely cause an extremely great obstruction on one's path of cultivation, and it might even cause one to be unable to advance. Therefore, very few people would go against a cultivator's oath. Su Chen looked at the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe in a daze. He had never expected the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe to say such a thing. Given what the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe had done that day, he was already on Su Chen's kill list. However, since the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe had already compromised and made such a request, Su Chen could not kill him anymore. However, Su Chen was still unwilling to let the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe go. He said, "Since you have said so, it would be inappropriate for me to not give you any face." At this point, Su Chen paused for a moment and continued, "Give me 100 blood gems, and I swear that I won't find trouble with you in the future." "You want more blood gems?" The ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe opened his mouth slightly, and his mind was in a mess. He had already backed down to this extent, but Su Chen still wanted a yard after giving him an inch. He had gone too far. Even a clay figurine would have a temper. At this moment, the ancestor of the beast-tamer tribe's eyes were burning with anger again. Chapter 617. Su Chen curled his lips and said with a smile, "Why are you so angry? Think about it. You're a sage-level expert. Isn't your life worth 100 blood gems?" The ancestor of the beast clan fell silent. Su Chen's words were reasonable, but he still felt uncomfortable. He had failed to make things difficult for Su Chen. Instead, he had been led by the nose by Su Chen. In the end, he had to pay 100 blood gems. How humiliating! If word got out, he would be disgraced. Seeing the ancestor of the beast clan fall silent, Su Chen rubbed his nose and reminded him, "You're the only one who can make me swear an oath. My patience is limited. Don't make me wait too long." The ancestor of the beast clan gritted his teeth and finally compromised. He threw out a cloth bag and snorted, "Here's the thing. You can swear now." Su Chen took the cloth bag and checked it. After making sure there were 100 blood gems in it, he threw it into the storage bag. Then, he looked at the patriarch of the beast-tamer clan and said coldly, "Who are you trying to show your displeasure to? Do I owe you anything?" The ancestor of the beast clan took a deep breath. His chest rose and fell violently. He suppressed his anger and said in a muffled voice, "Human, don't go too far." Seeing that the ancestor of the beast clan was on the verge of exploding, Su Chen stopped teasing him. Then he said solemnly, "I, Su Chen, swear that as long as the beast tamers behave themselves in front of me, I will not kill them." The ancestor of the Beast clan gnashed his teeth in anger. Su Chen had sworn an oath, but he wanted the Beast clan to lower their heads in front of him in the future. How shameless! But at least the result was what he wanted, so he did not dwell on it anymore. But after this, he had to remind his clansmen to stay as far away from Su Chen as possible. "All right, I've already made the oath. Can you leave now?" Su Chen ordered him to leave. The grand ancestor of the Beast Tamer clan did not want to stay here any longer. He turned around and left without saying a word. Soon he disappeared from their sight. When the ancestor of the Beast Tamer clan left in disgrace, the people on the intelligent chariot admired Su Chen so much that they could not stop themselves from admiring him. "Chen Gu is really too awesome." Chao Ran clicked his tongue and sighed with emotion. Facing the threat of a saint-level expert, Su Chen was neither servile nor overbearing. He sent him away with a few words and took the opportunity to extort a sum of blood gems. Perhaps only Su Chen could do such an outrageous thing, and only Su Chen would dare to do such a thing. "Satoshi, is that old thing gone?" Su Chen asked the intelligent chariot, to confirm whether the ancestor of the Beast Tamer tribe had really left. "Master, he has left. He's more than 5 kilometers away from us," the intelligent chariot immediately replied. Su Chen nodded slightly and said, "Get out of the chariot." The people on the chariot did not hesitate. They got out and gathered around Su Chen. "Satoshi, turn into the smallest form," Su Chen ordered. The intelligent chariot had to shrink in size to enter the teleportation formation. Click, click, click. The intelligent war chariot transformed into a palm-sized war chariot model. Seeing this, the others did not react. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi, on the other hand, were incomparably shocked. "Senior brother Chen, let's hurry." Su Chen reminded him with a smile. "Oh." Chen Feng came to his senses and was the first to enter the cave. Chapter 6:18. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that the teleportation portal in the cave was not destroyed. They could finally return to the human continent. Everyone's face was filled with smiles. Behind them, Chen Feng installed the 3 level 8 energy stones and activated the teleportation portal. Su Chen and the others' figures gradually became blurry and finally disappeared. After a moment of dizziness, they were already on top of a giant mountain when they reappeared. The surroundings were covered in white snow and the cold air was oppressive. There was even a bone-chilling wind blowing from all directions. The teleportation portal was built in such a god-forsaken place? Su Chen mumbled. He quickly took out the intelligent war chariot and turned it into flying mode. Then, everyone boarded the flying ship one by one. "Senior brother Cheng, where is the teleportation portal to the mysterious heavenly mainland?" Su Chen asked immediately. "Yinji City," Chen Feng said directly. "Satoshi, lock onto Yinji City and head there immediately," Su Chen ordered. Since he did not know when the teleportation portal would be activated, he had to confirm the time as soon as possible. If it could be activated in a short period of time, he would stay on Chongshu Island. If it took too long, he planned to make a trip to Prosperous Dawn Island and kill that bastard Han Sanqian. The intelligent war chariot received the order and flew straight to Yinji City. On the way, Su Chen asked Chen Feng again, "Senior brother Chen, where does the teleportation portal in Yinji City lead to in the mysterious heavenly mainland?" "Duli City in the Wenxi dynasty," Chen Feng replied. Su Chen had never heard of Duli City. However, it was fine as long as it was in the Wenxi dynasty. This was because the first place they had to go was Xixia Valley, which was in the Wenxi dynasty. "Brother Su, if the teleportation portal can't be activated immediately, we can participate in the auction in Yinji City," Chen Feng suggested. "Auction?" Su Chen muttered. When he was in Tongtian City, he had participated in an auction once. Back then, he had gained quite a lot. He was a little tempted by Chen Feng's suggestion. He asked, "When will the auction be held?" As a tycoon, he had too many energy stones and energy stones on him to count, especially the ordinary energy stones. As his level continued to increase, low-grade energy stones were no longer of any use to him. He might as well exchange it for something useful at the auction. Yanji City's auction is held once a month. It should be held in a few days. Chen Feng thought for a moment and replied. Su Chen nodded slightly. Let's go take a look if we have the chance. Since there were blood gems at the auction, there might be other good items as well. His interest was piqued. After flying for an hour, the intelligent war chariot arrived above a plain. As the flying speed was too slow, Su Chen simply let the intelligent war chariot transform back into a war chariot and drive on the ground. After driving for about half an hour, they entered a town. Su Chen was surprised to find that there was no one in the town. Moreover, there was a faint smell of blood in the town. If this town wasn't an abandoned town, then where did all the people here go? Satoshi, are there any signs of zombies or aliens nearby? Su Chen asked. He wondered if the people here had been killed by zombies or non-humankind beings. The intelligent war chariot searched for a while and replied, Master, there are no zombies or aliens. There are more than a dozen humans in front. That's strange. Su Chen muttered. He didn't think much about it and let the intelligent war chariot move on. When the intelligent war chariot left the town, there were hundreds of human skeletons on the ground. Some of the skeletons were stained with blood. Apparently, they hadn't been dead for long. Chapter 619. Among the hundreds of skeletons, there were more than a dozen men standing. At this time, their eyes were filled with blood-red light as they sized up the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, are they humans? Su Chen asked with a frown. These humans looked very strange and gave him a feeling of familiarity, but he could not remember where he had seen them before. Master, judging from their aura, they are indeed humans, the intelligent war chariot replied affirmatively. Since they were humans, Su Chen would not bother with them as long as they did not provoke them. However, at this time, Xianxia reminded him, look at their clothes, they seem to be from Spirit Snake Valley. Is Spirit Snake Valley very famous? Su Chen asked. Spirit Snake Valley is also a big force on Chongsu Island. Their leader is a level 6 evolutionary, Xianxia explained. Satoshi, let's continue. Su Chen shook his head and sneered at Spirit Snake Valley. A level 6 evolutionary might be a powerful figure on Chongsu Island, but in his eyes, they were like ants. Unexpectedly, when the intelligent war chariot passed by the people from Spirit Snake Valley, it was suddenly blocked by them. You're courting death. A cold light flashed in Su Chen's eyes. He opened the car door and walked straight out. Boy, where did you come from? On the opposite side, a one-eyed man sized up Su Chen and shouted. Su Chen rubbed his nose and was about to reply when he saw the one-eyed man's expression suddenly change. Then he said very respectfully, Senior, sorry for disturbing you. We'll leave now. After saying that, he gave the others a look and began to retreat slowly. Su Chen raised his eyebrows. When he got out of the car, he restrained his aura. Logically speaking, the other party could not see through his cultivation without fighting. However, this situation was not absolute. Because there were two creatures that had the ability to detect one's cultivation. One was the devouring beast of the demon clan, and the other was the bloodworm of the blood clan's continent. Su Chen thought of something and shouted, Stop! The one-eyed man's body trembled as he faced Su Chen and smiled embarrassedly. Senior, what can I do for you? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced at him. He instantly released his mental strength and grabbed him. Senior, spare my life. The one-eyed man's body stiffened, and his face was filled with fear as he loudly begged for mercy. Su Chen brought it closer and snorted, You should be a crimson bug, right? The devourer beast was too strong, and would not bother to possess a human. Bloodworms, on the other hand, were not so particular. They would not even let zombies go. It was very likely that they would possess humans and control their thoughts. When the one-eyed man heard Su Chen mention crimson bug, his expression changed drastically. He looked terrified. Nevertheless, he gritted his teeth and quibbled, Senior, I don't know what crimson bug is. Su Chen pouted and did not hold back. He controlled his mental strength and crushed the man's body. A loud bang was heard. At the same time that the one-eyed man turned into a blood mist, a strange red insect that was about 10 feet in size emerged and shot into the distance. At the same time, the other people from the Spirit Serpent Valley scattered and fled. Do you think you can escape? Su Chen smiled in disdain. He raised his hand and shot out a wind blade, slashing the dozen of them into two. The moment the dozen of them fell, a red glow shot out of their bodies at the same time. Subsequently, huge crimson bugs crawled out of the corpses. Chapter 620. What are they? Why do they look so disgusting? It was Shen Mingfei's first time seeing a crimson bug, so she felt disgusted. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi had never seen a crimson bug before, so they did not look too good. The rest had seen a crimson bug before. Su Chen had killed a crimson bug when he was at Qinyu Island. Wu Yang pondered for a while and explained to Chen Feng and the rest. Outside the carriage, Su Chen attacked again. After killing all the crimson bugs behind him, he chased after the crimson bug that was escaping. After a few breaths, he carried the crimson bug with his mental power and returned to where he was. Su Chen threw the crimson bug on the ground and asked coldly, "Did you kill all the humans here?" The crimson bug fed on humans' essence and blood to survive. Therefore, he suspected that the humans were killed by the crimson bugs. "We didn't kill them. They were already like this when we arrived," the crimson bug replied anxiously. "Since you didn't kill them, why are you here?" Su Chen sneered. The crimson bug hesitated. However, under Su Chen's cold stare, the crimson bug spoke after a while. "Senior, can you spare my life if I tell you the truth?" The crimson bug shrieked as soon as it finished its sentence. Su Chen hated it when people bargained with him, especially when they were not qualified to do so. Therefore, he controlled his mental power mercilessly and chopped off a small part of the crimson bug's body. The crimson bug was in so much pain that it kept rolling on the ground. "Tell me the truth or I'll chop you into powder." Su Chen stared at the crimson bug and said coldly. Under Su Chen's deadly stare, the crimson bug trembled and said, "Senior, we're chasing a crimson beast. All the humans here were killed by the crimson beast." Crimson beast? Su Chen frowned as it was his first time hearing about such a demonic beast. He asked, "The crimson beast is a demonic beast from the Blood Clan mainland? Why are you chasing it?" "The crimson beast isn't from the Blood Breed continent. It was the Valley Master's order to hunt it down," Crimson Bug answered honestly. "Why is your Valley Master chasing after the blackmail beast? What are the characteristics of a cracker beast?" Su Chen asked. The Valley Master of the Spirit Serpent Valley must have been controlled by the Crimson Bug as well. The thing that the Crimson Bug cared about would not be simple. The blackmail beasts are actually similar to the mutant beasts. They are violent and bloodthirsty by nature. What they like the most is to devour human flesh. The Valley Master did not explain why he wanted to capture him. Shuegu replied honestly. Su Chen glanced at the human skeletons nearby and thought to himself, "It seems that these humans were all killed by the beasts." Then he continued to ask, "How did you enter Chongsu Island? How many are there?" If there were enough crimson worms, he could consider killing a bunch of them to get some fragments. Bloodbug replied, "We entered through the boundary passage on Flowerless Island. There are less than 100 of us." Flowerless Island. Su Chen muttered as a cold gleam flashed in his eyes. Since Flowerless Island had a boundary passage that led to the Blood Clan mainland, there must be many Blood Clan members who came out. The Blood Clan was a cruel and evil clan. Su Chen did not have a good impression of them at all. If he had the time, he would kill all the Blood Clan members on Flowerless Island. There was no need for the Crimson Bug to stay since he had asked all the questions he wanted. After Su Chen crushed the Crimson Bug, he collected the fragments and returned to the intelligent war chariot. "Satoshi, let's move on." He turned to ask Chen Feng, "Senior brother Chen, have you heard of the Crimson Beast?" Chapter 621. For some reason, Su Chen felt that the crap beast wasn't simple, so he wanted to ask about it. "Never heard of it." Chen Feng shook his head. Su Chen didn't give up. He opened the pet raising space and contacted the Flaming Phoenix. In terms of knowledge, other than the longevity fruit tree, the flaming phoenix was the most knowledgeable. The former knew a lot about spirit plants, while the latter was not only a member of the Holy Devil tribe but also entered the Void battleground, so it should have some understanding of spirit beasts. Flaming Phoenix, have you heard of the crap beast? Suchen asked. The flaming phoenix thought for a bit and suddenly said excitedly, Master, the crap beasts are very rare in the world. Although they are very evil, there is a chance that they have a soul orb in their body. Because of this soul orb, they are often hunted. It really had some background. Suchen was shocked and asked, What is a soul orb? What is it used for? The flaming phoenix explained, the soul orb is only useful for blood-type spirit beasts. After devouring it, there is a high chance of awakening a blood-type god art. Suchen was excited. Wasn't the super ancient devouring gorilla mosquito a blood-type spirit beast? If it devoured it, wouldn't it awaken a god art? Thinking of this, he hurriedly asked, if little gold devoured it, would it awaken a god art? It would be a waste to let it devour it, but it is a blood-type spirit beast, so it should be able to, the flaming phoenix said calmly. Because the super ancient devouring gorilla mosquito was too weak, the flaming phoenix usually looked down on it. Therefore, it was inevitable that it would look down on it. Suchen treated all spirit pets the same, so if there was a chance to increase their strength, he would definitely do it. Just as he was thinking about how to find the crap beast, the flaming phoenix asked, Master, have you found the crap beast? Suchen didn't hide anything and told it what happened. Master, although the Krakes aren't very strong, their senses are very strong. They're also very good at hiding their presence, so I suspect that the Krakes are nearby and haven't gone far, Flaming Phoenix said seriously. Suchen's eyes lit up. He ordered the intelligent chariot, Satoshi, search again and see if there are any demonic beasts nearby. A few seconds later, the intelligent war chariot replied, Master, no demonic beasts have been detected. Either they couldn't find the Krake beast, or the Krake beast had run out of the intelligent war chariot's search range. Or, as Flaming Phoenix had said, the beast had hidden itself. But no matter what the situation was, it was impossible to find the blackmail beast. It seems that this beast is not fated with little Jean. Suchen sighed. Master, I have an idea that we can try, the blazing phoenix said. What is it? Suchen was suddenly energized. It is said that the Krakes are not only fond of flesh and blood, but they also like high-quality ores. Master, don't you have blood gems? You can try it, Flaming Phoenix explained. That's a good idea. Suchen nodded and stopped the intelligent war chariot. Then, he started to look through the storage bag. In order to attract the Krakes, he not only took out blood gems, but also many high-quality energy stones and other valuable ores. He threw all of them on the roof of the chariot. Then, he asked everyone to hide their presence and wait quietly. Chapter 622. Time passed bit by bit. An hour had passed. The surroundings were silent, and the crap beast had yet to appear. It seems like this method won't work. Suchen muttered. Just as he was about to give up, a black shadow suddenly appeared at a certain position on the central control screen, and it was slowly approaching this side. At the same time, the intelligent war chariot warned, Master, a monster is approaching us. Suchen took a deep breath and said in a low voice, Satoshi, lock onto it and enlarge the image. The image on the central control screen changed. Soon, a monster that was more than a meter long and shaped like a black panther appeared. Little Flame, is this monster a crap beast? Suchen asked the Flaming Phoenix. Master, it is a crap beast, the Flaming Phoenix replied with certainty. Okay. Suchen was relieved. In order to avoid any accidents, he didn't make a move immediately. Because the two of them were a few miles apart, he planned to wait for the crap beast to approach before making a move. However, this crap beast was very cautious. Not only was it slow, but it would also stop and observe from time to time. Even after more than 10 minutes, it was still a few hundred meters away from the intelligent war chariot. Suchen was a little impatient. Just as he was about to get out of the car to capture it, the intelligent war chariot suddenly warned, Master, there are 2 level 6 human cultivators approaching quickly. Satoshi, open the door. Su Chen frowned and ordered. Although he didn't know why these 2 humans were here, their appearance would definitely scare the crap beast away. Therefore, he couldn't wait any longer. The moment the car door opened, he rushed out like an arrow. After locking on to the crap beast's position, Su Chen activated the rapid combat boots and dashed forward like a bolt of lightning. In less than a few breaths, he had already arrived in front of the crap beast. Seeing someone rush in front of it, the crap beast jumped in fright. However, it didn't wait for death. A black light flashed all over its body, and its figure quickly became illusory. When Su Chen rushed in front of it, it completely disappeared. He can even turn invisible? Su Chen froze for a moment. Then, he released his mental power and swept it in all directions. Soon, he found a trembling beast behind a big tree. You think you can escape from my grasp? The corner of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly, and he controlled his mental power to bind it. Woo-woo. Under the entanglement of the mental power, the beast revealed its true form. At this moment, fear was written all over its face as it screeched nonstop. Su Chen glanced at him and carried him back to the intelligent chariot. Little Flame, does this beast have a soul orb? Su Chen immediately asked Flaming Phoenix. Master, just cut open this guy's stomach and you'll know if he has a soul orb or not, the Flaming Phoenix said simply. Woo-woo. Although the crap beast couldn't speak human language, it was obviously intelligent. When it heard that its stomach was about to be cut open, it was so scared that it struggled desperately. Su Chen knocked it out with a punch, and then called Chao Ran to his side. It was best to let a professional like Chao Ran deal with something like disemboweling. Chingu, leave this guy to me. Chao Ran walked forward and took out the nether dagger. Just as he was about to cut, a shout came from outside the chariot. The people in the chariot, hand over our mutated beast. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. The people who spoke were the 2 human cultivators from before. Judging from their tone, it was obvious that they were here for the crap beast. Chapter 623. Su Chen squinted his eyes and looked outside. He saw 2 young men in black. One of them was fat and the other was skinny. The fat man was very bloated and looked like a fat pig. The skinny man was slim and was as thin as a bamboo pole. Moreover, Su Chen also noticed that the skinny man was holding a blood-red crystal in his hand that was emitting a bewitching color. Just as Su Chen was about to go down to take a look, Chen Feng reminded him, Brother Su, these 2 are from Beast Camp. The fat one is Ling Tianxiao and the skinny one is Ji Ning. They are both level 6 evolvers and each of them has a level 6 mutated beast in their pouches. Which faction is Beast Camp from? Su Chen asked calmly. From Forgotten Autumn Mountain, Chen Feng replied. There were 7 factions in Forgotten Autumn Mountain and Beast Camp was one of them. There was also a level 9 powerhouse in the faction. Their strength was not to be underestimated. So, they are from Forgotten Autumn Mountain. Su Chen mumbled and walked out of the car. No matter who they were, as long as they dared to have any ideas about him, he would kill them without mercy. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi looked at each other and followed closely behind Su Chen. They knew Su Chen well. Once there was a conflict, Ling Tianxiao and Ji Ning would definitely be killed. They were all from Forgotten Autumn Mountain and Beast Camp had a good relationship with Sun Moon Star Palace. They did not want to see Su Chen and Beast Camp get into a conflict. When Ji Ning saw that it was a young man who came out of the car, his eyes were filled with disdain. He sneered, Kid, our mutated beast is in your car, right? Hand it over and we will not make things difficult for you. You are talking about the Beast Camp, right? Su Chen curled his lips and smiled. You know about the Beast Camp? Ling Tianxiao, who was standing at the side, said in surprise. There were very few Beast Camp and only a handful of people knew about it. Yet, this young man in front of him knew about it. Could he be someone important? Does it have anything to do with you whether I know or not? Su Chen's lips curled into a contemptuous smile, as if he didn't care about the 2 of them at all. A mere level 6 cultivator was like an ant to him. He could kill her with one hand. Indeed, he did not have the qualifications to attract his attention. "Brat, are you very arrogant?" Ning let out a cold snort, his eyes slowly turning cold and sinister. Yet at this moment, Chen Feng walked over with a smile and greeted, "Brother Ling, Brother Ji, long time no see. Senior apprentice Brother Chen, Junior apprentice Sister Xia, why are you here?" Ning was slightly startled. "We were on a long trip and were planning to head to Yanji City. Coincidentally, we passed by this place." Chen Feng replied with a smile. Ning nodded slightly, then said, "Senior apprentice Brother Chen, did you capture that crap beast?" Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi came from the Sun Moon Star Palace, and the Sun Moon Star Palace was the #1 power in the Forgotten Autumn Mountain. Given his status, Ning was extremely courteous when he spoke. He didn't dare to be impudent at all. "Brother Ji, the beast camp belongs to Brother Su. You'd better not have any ideas about it." Chen Feng gave Ning a look as he spoke. Although he didn't know what kind of beast the beast camp was, since Su Chen valued it so much, it was enough to prove its value. Was it possible to take a tooth out of the tiger's mouth from Su Chen's hands? Not to mention Ning and Ling Tianxiao, even the patriarch of the Beast Tamer clan, who was above level 10, couldn't take advantage of Su Chen. He was even blackmailed. If a mere level 6 cultivator dared to be so arrogant in front of Su Chen, he would probably be killed in the next moment. By saying this, he was actually trying to save Ning and Ling Tianxiao. Of course, it was none of his business whether the other party understood it or not. Given their relationship, it was already extremely benevolent of him to say this. Chapter 624. If he said anything more, he would offend Su Chen. Chen Feng was still very clear about which was more important between the two of them. Could it be that this young man has a powerful background? Ning guessed. Someone who could befriend Chen Feng was obviously not an ordinary person. There was no doubt about that. However, the Black Beast was too important to them. It wasn't easy for them to find the whereabouts of the Black Beast. How could they be willing to give up just like that? After pondering for a moment, Ning looked at Su Chen. His attitude was much gentler than before. "Brother Su, we are from Forgotten Autumn Mountains Beast Camp. That Black Beast is very important to us. I hope you can part with it and sell it to us." Without knowing Su Chen's background, he revealed his identity and wanted to use the name of Beast Camp to intimidate Su Chen and make Su Chen compromise. However, his attention was obviously on the wrong track. Forget Beast Camp. Su Chen didn't even care about the entire Forgotten Autumn Mountain, let alone Beast Camp. "Don't try to get close to me." "Am I close to you?" Su Chen rebuked and said coldly, "I won't sell it. If you scram now, I can pretend that nothing happened." Upon hearing this, Ning and Ling Tianxiao were both stupefied. Their faces turned pale as well. Wasn't that a little too arrogant? He didn't care about the people of Beast Camp at all. Even if you have a powerful background, you don't want to sell the Black Beast. Can't you talk nicely? Why did you have to rebuke them? Humiliate them? How could they tolerate that? Ning and Ling Tianxiao were both enraged, and their gazes turned extraordinarily cold. Beside him, Chen Feng shook his head and sighed secretly. He knew Su Chen's personality. Su Chen was someone who would never let himself be taken advantage of. Ning and Ling Tianxiao's words had clearly angered Su Chen. However, Su Chen retaliated with words and didn't immediately kill them. He was very restrained. It could be said that he gave Ning and Ling Tianxiao a way out. It was up to them if they could grasp it. "Brat, I don't care where you're from. If you don't hand over the blackmail beast today, don't even think about leaving here alive." He then turned to Chen Feng and said, "Senior apprentice Brother Chen, this is a matter between us and this kid. I hope that you and junior apprentice Sister Xia won't interfere." "Sigh. Why are you doing this?" Chen Feng laughed bitterly. Once Su Chen made a move, who could stop him? If he forcefully interfered at this time, wouldn't he be courting death? Su rubbed his nose and smiled faintly. "I gave you a chance, but you insisted on seeking death. You can't blame anyone else." With that, he released his spiritual energy and swept it towards Ji Ning and Ling Tianxiao. Spirit Reader. Sensing a huge force coming towards them, Ning and Ling Tianxiao's expressions changed drastically. Without thinking, they opened their spirit beast pouches and each summoned a level 6 spirit pet. At this moment, they clearly realized that Su Chen was most likely a level 7 telekinesis master. Facing such a powerful attack, they didn't dare to hold back at all. Originally, they thought that the two of them and the 2 level 6 spirit pets could compete with Su Chen. Unexpectedly, they realized how naive they were when the mental energy came crashing down on them. The spiritual energy that Su Chen released had completely surpassed level 7. It wasn't something that they could resist. Bang, bang, following 2 explosive sounds. The 2 level 6 spirit pets had just appeared and their skulls were crushed. As for Ning and Ling Tianxiao, most of their bones were broken. At this moment, they were pressed onto the ground and screaming in pain. Chapter 625. Su Chen walked forward casually. First, he collected the fragments from the 2 corpses. Then, he dug out 2 level 6 energy stones. Finally, he looked at Ji Ning and Ling Tianxiao. "Senior, we were wrong. Please give us another chance." Ignoring the pain in his body, Ning loudly begged Su Chen for mercy. It was only at this moment that he realized what kind of existence he was facing. The fear in his heart reached its peak. Su Chen's expression was indifferent as he asked in a low voice, "Do you have any other beasts in your beast lodge?" Considering that the beast in his hand might not have a soul pearl, and that a soul pearl might not be able to help the super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito awaken its magical power, he decided to give it a try. If the Seng beast camp still had blackmail beasts, he could think of a way to get them. "Senior, our beast lodge doesn't have a single crap beast," Ning replied, utterly terrified. "No." Su Chen was a little unhappy. He narrowed his eyes and asked coldly, "How did you find out about the whereabouts of the beast?" The crap beast should have escaped from the Spirit Snake Valley, and the Spirit Snake Valley would definitely not spread the news of the crap beast's disappearance. Then how did these 2 people find out? Elder Shin Ruahong arranged for us to do this. He gave us a pearl that can sense the location of crap beasts and told us to capture them, Ning hurriedly replied. Su Chen controlled his spiritual energy to take the bead into his hand. He glanced at it casually and put it into his storage bag. Then he asked, "How do I use this bead?" "It's an automatic sensor. As long as there are crab beasts within a certain range, it will begin to glow with red light. The closer it is to the crab beasts, the brighter the color will be," Ning said honestly. Su Chen nodded. Without any warning at all, he struck out, blasting Ning and Ning into smithereens. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi, who were at the side, clicked their tongues but didn't say anything. The 2 of them had only themselves to blame for ending up like this. Of all people to mess with? But to provoke Su Chen, it was simply courting death. Behind them, Su Chen put away the oars on the roof of the car and returned to the intelligent war chariot with Chen Feng. "Chao Ran, let's begin," Su Chen immediately ordered. He didn't know if there was a soul orb in this beast's body, so he had to confirm it. Chao Ran did not waste any time. He held the nether dagger and began to cut open the beast's stomach. Soon, a long gash was cut open on the beast's belly, and blood flowed out. Chao Ran didn't mind it. He rummaged through it and found a black pearl the size of a peanut. "Chingu, is this the thing?" Chao Ran handed the bead to Su Chen. Su Chen had never seen a soul orb before. He sent it into the pet breeding space and connected it to Flaming Phoenix. "Flaming Phoenix, is this a soul orb?" "Master, this is a soul orb." Flaming Phoenix replied affirmatively, then said, "The quality of this soul orb isn't very good. The big mosquito's talent is too weak. He won't be able to awaken any divine abilities if he swallows it. It's better to keep it and let him eat it when we have to. That way, he'll have a better chance." When the super ancient devourer mosquito heard Flaming Phoenix say that it was useless, it instantly felt a little indignant. However, even though it was 1 level higher than Flaming Phoenix, it didn't dare to argue with Flaming Phoenix. Because if he was not careful, he would be beaten up. "Where can I get the other one?" Su Chen frowned. It would be easy if they knew the whereabouts of the other beasts. but the problem was that there were too few of them. It would be good if they could find one. Where could they find the other one? Chapter 626. The Flaming Phoenix reminded him, "Master, black male beasts usually come in pairs. If you catch one, there will definitely be another one." Su Chen's eyes lit up and his thoughts started to move. In his mind, if there was really another black male beast, it would either be in the Spirit Snake Valley or in Shenruohong's hands. Even if it was not in their hands, they should have some information about it. Thinking of this, he asked Chen Feng, "Senior Chen, how is Shenruohong's cultivation?" If he wanted to find the black male beast, he would definitely have to come into contact with Shenruohong. Who knows, they might even fight. Naturally, he had to know the other party's background. Shenruohong is a level 8 evolver, and he also has a level 8 mutated beast. His strength is very strong, and he is one of the top experts in the Forgotten Worries Mountain. And there are rumors that there was once a level 9 cultivator who fought with him to the death, but the one who survived was Shenruohong. Chen Feng said with a serious expression. The reason why he said it so clearly was to remind Su Chen that it was best not to provoke Shenruohong easily. This guy is quite strong. Su Chen muttered. There were many experts in the Forgotten Autumn Mountain, and there were many level 9 and level 10 experts. Shenruohong was only level 8, but he was ranked among them. This was enough to prove his strength. Moreover, he was able to kill enemies of a higher level. This was even more difficult. However, Su Chen did not care too much. So what if he killed enemies of a higher level? He was the master of killing enemies of 2 levels higher. As long as he found out that Shenruohong had a black male beast, he would not let it go. After figuring out Shenruohong's background, Su Chen turned to the intelligent war chariot and ordered, "Satoshi, search for the location of the Spirit Snake Valley." Since he wanted to find another black male beast, he had to make a trip to the Spirit Snake Valley. The image on the central control screen changed, and the specific location of the Spirit Snake Valley quickly appeared. Su Chen took a look and realized that the Spirit Snake Valley was only a few hundred kilometers away from Yanji City. He said, "Satoshi, head to the Spirit Snake Valley." The intelligent war chariot locked onto the Spirit Snake Valley and drove over. On the way, Su Chen asked Chen Feng, "Senior Marshal Brother Chen, are there many alien tribes on Chongsu Island?" Given his style of doing things, he naturally wouldn't let a foreign race off the hook. If he had the time, he could take the opportunity to harvest a batch. There are no alien forces on Chongsu Island, but there are quite a number of them. Most of them came from other islands. Chen Feng replied. Why did they come to Chongsu Island? Su Chen was puzzled. Chen Feng explained, there are 2 main purposes. One is to enter the mysterious heavenly mainland through the teleportation formation here. The other is to participate in the auction in Yanji City. Can the mutated tribesmen enter the mysterious heavenly mainland? Su Chen was puzzled. If the alien tribes could enter the mysterious heavenly mainland through the teleportation formation, then the miasma outside the mysterious heavenly mainland would be useless. However, it was impossible for the almighty humans who created the miasma not to know about this. So, why did they do this? Brother Su, although the teleportation formation allows the alien tribes to use it, there's a restriction. Aliens above level 8 can't use it, Chen Feng explained with a smile. I see. Su Chen was enlightened. At this moment, he finally understood the purpose of the teleportation formation. If the mysterious heavenly mainland was completely sealed off, it would be equivalent to isolating the country. It would be detrimental to the development of the mysterious heavenly mainland. If the alien tribes below level 8 were to enter, they could exchange information. There was no need to worry about the alien tribes causing trouble in the mysterious heavenly mainland. After all, their cultivation levels were high, and the powerhouses of the mysterious heavenly mainland could deal with them. Chapter 627. After understanding the situation, Su Chen sat in the driver's seat and began to count the fragments. There were not many fragments collected this time, less than 100 in total. Su Chen checked them one by one and found that most of them had been exchanged for energy points. However, when he saw the last fragment, his expression suddenly changed. The last fragment was called the City of Faith, and it was the first item to appear. Moreover, the number of fragments needed to be collected was 10,000, which was of the same level as the ancient god-fiend body. Items that cost 10,000 energy points were undoubtedly the best of the best. So far, Su Chen had exchanged a few items that cost 10,000 energy points, and all of them had proven their value. However, without exchanging it, he did not know what the City of Faith was used for. In addition, there were the 5 elements Thunder Purgatory Formation, Illusionary Blaze Feather Divine Dragon, and Drunken Life. Even if he wanted to exchange them, he would have to wait for a while. After sorting out the fragments, Su Chen did not think much and closed his eyes to rest. The rest of the journey was peaceful. On the morning of the 4th day, the intelligent war chariot appeared in front of the Spirit Snake Valley. After Su Chen got off the chariot, he entered the Spirit Snake Valley alone. As the people in the Spirit Snake Valley were controlled by the Crimson Bug, he killed them all mercilessly. However, he did not find any trace of the Spirit Snake Valley Master, nor did he find the Crimson Beast. After interrogating, Su Chen found out that the Spirit Snake Valley Master had gone to Yanji City to participate in the auction. After returning to the chariot, Su Chen immediately ordered the intelligent war chariot to go to Yanji City. Once the auction in Yanji City ended, he might not be able to find the Spirit Snake Valley Master. He had to rush over before the auction started. The distance between the Spirit Snake Valley and Yanji City was less than 300 kilometers. With the speed of the Level 7 Intelligent War Chariot, he arrived in less than an hour. After paying the energy stones and entering the city, Su Chen wanted to find out when the teleportation portal would open. After confirming that it would open in 3 days, he rushed to the location of the auction. The auction would be held today, and there was less than an hour before it would open. Fortunately, they weren't far from the auction site, so they arrived in half an hour. If one wanted to enter the auction, they had to buy an admission ticket. Moreover, the ticket price was much higher than the auction in Sky Connect City. Ordinary tickets cost 50 ordinary energy stones each. The VIP room tickets were even more ridiculously expensive, and they required 1,000 ordinary energy stones. As a tycoon, Su Chen didn't care about this bit of energy stones at all, and he bought a VIP room ticket with a wave of his hand. After entering the auction house, Su Chen discovered that the space inside was very large. It was like a small stadium and could accommodate tens of thousands of people. At this moment, the auction house was already packed to the brim. Under the guidance of a waiter, Su Chen and the others quickly arrived at the 2nd floor and entered room 10. There was plenty of space in the private room, and it was not a problem to accommodate 30 to 50 people. Since there was still some time before the auction, everyone found a place to sit down and chat. Senior Brother Chen, there are so many people attending the auction. Won't it cause a riot? Su Chen glanced downstairs and asked calmly. With tens of thousands of people gathered together, and many of them were from different races. If there was a little friction, it could easily cause a riot and a massacre. Brother Su, you worry too much. The auction in Yanji City is jointly organized by many forces. With so many strong people behind them, no one would dare to cause trouble here. Chen Feng explained with a smile. Su Chen nodded slightly and opened his storage bag. Originally, he wanted to let the intelligent war chariot check the strength of the strong people around. He didn't expect that the moment he opened it, he would see the sensor pearl that he snatched from Jining emit a rich color. Chapter 628. The sensing bead had reacted strongly, which meant that there was a blackmail beast nearby. It was likely to be in the auction. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at the hall on the 1st floor again. It was almost impossible to find out who had the blackmail beast among the thousands of people. Once the auction was over, it would be extremely difficult to find the blackmail beast. Su Chen pondered for a while and asked Chen Feng, Senior Brother Chen, how do I put something up for auction? Hearing this, Chen Feng was slightly stunned. Su Chen wanted to put something up for auction? This was a bit strange. In his impression, Su Chen was a nouveau riche who spent money like water. How could he lack energy stones? Brother Su, do you really want to sell something? Chen Feng asked tentatively. Su Chen nodded and took out a soul bead from his storage pouch. I'm selling this. You want to sell it? Chen Feng opened his mouth wide, his face filled with disbelief. The others looked at Su Chen. They did not understand why Su Chen would do this. It took a lot of effort to get the soul bead, which was more valuable than the blood gems. How could he sell such a good thing? This was not Su Chen's style. Su Chen did not explain further. He smiled and said, "You'll know the reason soon." He was not willing to sell a treasure like the soul bead. He did this to attract the attention of the person who had the blackmail beast. Not many people knew about the soul bead. Once it appeared at the auction, those who could bid at a high price would be suspicious. In this way, they could follow the clues to find the blackmail beast. Of course, with Su Chen's wealth, even if the soul bead was put up for auction, he would still be the final winner. At most, he would have to pay a small amount of royalties. Seeing that Su Chen was not joking, Chen Feng said seriously, "Brother Su, it's easy to put something up for auction. You just need to find a waiter and give it to him. After the auction's appraisal, it will be put up for auction." Speaking of this, he reminded, however, no matter what the price is, the auction house will take a 5% commission. Su Chen nodded slightly and pressed a button in front of him to call the waiter in. Then, he handed the soul orb to the attendant and ordered him to hand it over to the auctioneer for appraisal. After the attendant left with the soul beads, Chao Ran said worriedly, "Chen Gu, will the auction house be greedy for your items?" "It wouldn't dare." Su Chen said calmly. If the auction house really dared to covet the soul orbs, he would turn this place upside down and even raze it to the ground. The value of the items obtained in the end would definitely far exceed the value of the soul beads. Chen Feng smiled and explained, "Don't worry, the Yanji City auction house has been around for many years. Its reputation has always been very good. It will definitely not ruin its reputation for a treasure." "Oh." Chao Ran nodded and didn't say anything more. The auction has begun. At this moment, Wu Yang suddenly reminded. Everyone turned to look at the hall on the first floor. They saw a voluptuous, enchanting and charming woman slowly walking into the hall on the first floor. Although she didn't look young anymore, her every move and smile was filled with endless charm. With the appearance of this beautiful hostess, the entire hall suddenly quietened down. The auction has officially begun. The first item to be auctioned is a long sword. When the beautiful hostess said this, a maid walked up with a wooden tray in her hands. On the wooden tray was a long sword that was emitting a cold light. Chapter 629. After showing the long sword to the crowd, the hostess continued, "This long sword looks ordinary, but it is not. It was made by Xianxia Valley's master Wuxia." Boom! The entire auction house was in an uproar. Wuxia was known as the top craftsman in the mysterious heavenly continent. The weapons made by him would definitely be of high quality. Many people's eyes lit up, and they were eager to give it a try. Su Chen, who was not interested in the long sword, could not help but take a second look at it. Anything forged by Grandmaster Wuxia is definitely not an ordinary item. This long sword will definitely fetch a very high price. Chen Feng exclaimed from the side. "Senior brother Chen, if you like it, you can bid for it. If you don't have enough energy stones, I can lend you some." Su Chen reminded Chen Feng when he saw that he was fascinated by the long sword. Chen Feng was a good swordsman, so he was tempted at this moment. However, when he thought of the blood gems in his hands that could upgrade his long sword to a higher quality, he was no longer tempted. "Brother Su, thank you for your kindness, but I don't plan to bid for this long sword," Chen Feng replied. Su Chen nodded and did not say anything else. At this moment, the hostess spoke again. "Weapons made by Master Wuxia are all of high quality. Everyone knows this. Therefore, the starting price of this long sword is 2,000 ordinary energy stones. Each bid increment must be no less than 100 energy stones." The starting price of 2,000 energy stones was definitely not low, but it still could not stop the crowd's enthusiasm. The hostess squinted her eyes and saw that it was about time. She raised her voice and said, The auction officially begins. Guest number 1053 bids 2,100 energy stones. Guest number 67 bids 2,500 energy stones. Box number 3 bids 3,000 energy stones. Once the auction began, the price kept rising. In the end, box number 3 won the bid at the sky-high price of 10,000 energy stones. After the first item was auctioned, the second item followed closely behind. This is a clear wind fruit. After consumption, there is a certain probability of increasing the magic power of a wind-type spiritual master. The starting price is 200 energy stones. Each bid increment must be no less than 50 energy stones. The beautiful hostess introduced a gray fruit the size of an egg. When Su Chen heard that it could increase the power of his wind magic, he immediately contacted the longevity fruit tree. Xiao Shou, have you heard of the clear wind fruit? The clear wind fruit can barely be considered a spiritual plant. It contains very little wind energy. Compared to other spiritual plants, it can only be described as trash, the longevity fruit tree explained. Su Chen originally wanted to bid for it, but after listening to the longevity fruit tree's explanation, he dispelled the idea. The auction for the clear breeze fruit soon began. However, compared to the long sword forged by Wu Yazi, the popularity of the clear wind fruit was not as high. In fact, it could even be said to be deserted. There were only a few people who bid for it. In the end, it was won by number 8210 at the price of 500 energy stones. The third item to be auctioned is a branch. The beautiful hostess held a dried branch that was half a meter long and walked around the stage. She explained as she walked, "This branch comes from the Holy Empire. Even though we haven't figured out its exact history until now, we've thoroughly researched its effects. This branch contains abundant vitality. It can be used to refine magic tools, and it can also be kept on the body to heal injuries. Moreover, its healing effect is extremely effective. So long as the injury isn't too severe, it can be healed in a few breaths of time." There were very few things that possessed vitality. With this branch in hand, it was equivalent to having an extra life. No one wouldn't be tempted. Instantly, the entire auction fell into an uproar. Chapter 630. A branch from the Tree of Life? Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. When he was in Tianwang City, he learned from the skinny old man that the ruler of the Holy Empire, Li Sheng, had many branches from the Tree of Life. The branch in the auction came from the Holy Empire and was full of vitality. All signs pointed to it being a branch from the Tree of Life. "Brother Su, this item is not bad. You can bid for it." Chen Feng was obviously tempted, but his financial resources were limited. He knew that even if he bid, he would not be able to get it. He did not want the branch to fall into the hands of others, so he encouraged Su Chen to bid. "I'll give it a try." Su Chen nodded slightly. The branch from the Tree of Life was not very useful to him, but it was a holy item after all. If the price was right, he could consider it. What's the starting price? Let's start. Many people could not wait any longer and urged one after another. The beautiful hostess did not let the crowd wait for long before she announced the starting price. 2,000 energy stones. It was the same starting price as the long sword that Wu Yazi had forged. The auction began. Everyone bid wildly, and the price soared. During this period, Su Chen also bid twice. However, as the price broke through 10,000 energy stones, he gave up. He had a lot of energy stones, but there was no need to waste them on something that was not very useful. After the price broke through 10,000 energy stones, there were not many people who could continue bidding. When the price broke through 15,000, only the number 7 and 9 rooms were left for the auction. The people in these two private rooms seemed to be going all out and did not give in. As soon as room 7 placed his bid, room 9 immediately raised his bid. Then, room 7 followed suit and continued to raise his bid. It seemed that they were determined to get the branch from the Tree of Life. When the price broke through the 20,000 mark, these two private rooms still did not give in. The price of 20,000 energy stones had far exceeded the price of the branch from the Tree of Life. Su Chen felt that it was somewhat inconceivable. At the same time, He realized that he was not the only nouveau riche in this world. There were also many people who threw away large sums of money. As the price continued to soar, the branch of the Tree of Life was finally bought by Room 9 for 35,000 energy stones. After learning about this price, Su Chen couldn't help but click his tongue. He secretly said, "He's really rich." After the Tree of Life branch was auctioned off, the fourth item arrived. What appeared in front of everyone was a silver longbow made of a special wooden material. There was only a bow and no arrows. The beautiful hostess explained that the silver longbow came from the elves and was a grade 4 weapon. It could only be used by a spirit reader and an evolver. In the process of using it, one's mental strength would be condensed into an arrow. Pulling the longbow and shooting out a mental strength arrow could cause a fatal blow to a level 5 cultivator. From the beautiful hostess's explanation, it wasn't hard to deduce that the silver longbow was a pretty good weapon. Disregarding everything else, just the fact that he was able to kill an enemy above his level was enough to attract a lot of attention. Unfortunately, the conditions were too harsh. Just the requirement of having 2 professions was enough to make most people flinch. Su Chen also lacked interest. With his strength, it was simply not enough to catch his eye. However, thinking that Tan Lin and Yang Qian also had 2 professions, if they were equipped with this longbow, their strength would definitely increase. Thinking of this, he asked Tan Lin and Yang Qian, "Which one of you likes this longbow?" "Su Chen, I don't like using this kind of weapon." Tan Lin shook her head. Su Chen turned his gaze to Yang Qian, waiting for her answer. Chapter 631. Yang Qian seemed to be moved. She hesitated for a moment before replying, "I have an inexplicable feeling about this longbow, but I can't pinpoint the exact reason." "All right, I'll definitely get this longbow for you," Su Chen promised solemnly. After the beautiful hostess introduced the silver longbow, she announced the start of the auction. The starting price was 1,000 energy stones, and each increment must not be less than 100. As soon as the auction started, Su Chen directly bid 2,000. He had attended an auction once before and had some experience. By raising the price so high, the first reason was to show his wealth, and the second was to show that he was determined to obtain the silver longbow. To a large extent, it made some people who were interested in the silver longbow flinch. However, there were also people who did not give up. Box 7, who had competed with Box 9 for the Tree of Life's branch, directly bid 5,000 energy stones, showing his rich and overbearing side. "Trying to snatch something from me?" Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly, revealing a touch of disdain. He then kept pressing the button to raise the price to 10,000 energy stones. F***CK, what's the background of Box 10? A Lao Zibao bid 10,000 energy stones. He has so many energy stones that he has nowhere to spend them, right? He's rich and can do whatever he wants. What can you do about it? Su Chen's bid of 10,000 not only made Box 7 admit defeat, but it also caused a fierce discussion in the hall on the first floor. After that, no one continued to bid. The beautiful hostess also took the opportunity to announce the success of Box 10's bid. Soon, a waiter sent the silver longbow to Box 10. Su Chen paid the energy stones and put the silver longbow into his storage bag. He did not hand it over to Yang Qian immediately. Although Yang Qian was a dual-profession cultivator, her spirit reader cultivation was too weak. She was still stuck at level 1. Even if she held the silver longbow, it would not be of any use. Su Chen wanted to raise Yang Qian's spirit reader level first before giving it to her. Later on, the auction continued. The 5th auction item was a spiritual plant seed. Su Chen was not interested in seed-type things because he had too many seeds in his storage bag. However, after hearing that it was the seed of the spirit accumulation fruit, he changed his mind. The spirit accumulation fruit was similar to the deep blue fruit. After consumption, it had the effect of increasing one's spirit. However, it had no effect on a high-level spirit reader like Su Chen. However, Tan Lin and Yang Qian were only level 1 spirit readers. They could use it completely. Thinking of this reason, Su Chen decided to bid for the seed of the spirit accumulation fruit. The starting price of the spirit accumulation fruit's seed was 500 energy stones. Due to the fact that it was a good item that could increase one's spiritual energy, it attracted a flurry of bidding. However, it was only a seed after all. When the price soared to 4,000 energy stones, there were very few people who were willing to bid. Su Chen bid again, and it was still 10,000 energy stones. This price made all the competitors was despair. Therefore, he successfully bid the seed of the spirit accumulation fruit. Su Chen continued to bid and spent a lot of money. He was in the limelight. At the same time, he attracted a lot of attention and some curses. In this regard, Su Chen did not care. He happily paid the energy stones and put the seed of the spirit accumulation fruit into his storage bag. Later on, the auction continued. The next 4 items were all weapons. Su Chen was not interested and did not bid again. When the weapons were auctioned, some special ores appeared. Su Chen was also interested. Some ores could help the intelligent war chariot to improve its function. Naturally, he would not miss it. Chapter 632. With the help of the intelligent war chariot, Su Chen did not let go of a single ore as long as it was useful. He disregarded all competitors and bought 5 ores in one go, displaying his strong financial resources. Even Qin Feng and Xia Jingyi, who knew Su Chen well, were inexplicably shocked. After the ores were auctioned, a large number of pills appeared. There were many types and quantities, including those that could heal, increase one's magic power, and help with advancement. Pills could be said to be the most popular item in the auction, so it attracted many people to compete for them. Su Chen scoffed at the pills and did not plan to participate. On the contrary, Qin Feng, who had not made a move all this time, also bid this time. He had his eyes on a type of pill that had a certain probability of advancement. It was called the bone tempering pill. The starting price of the bone tempering pill was 500 energy stones, but because there were many people competing for it, it quickly soared to 2,000 energy stones. Seeing this price, Qin Feng let out a faint sigh and gave up. Seeing this, Su Chen said with a smile, "Senior brother Qin, if you don't have enough energy stones, I still have some here. You can use them first." Qin Feng gritted his teeth. "Brother Su, can you lend me 2,000? I'll give you 3,000. Thinking that the bone tempering pill was more popular, Su Chen took out 3,000 energy stones right away. Qin Feng did not decline and quickly joined the ranks of the bidders. In the end, he won the bid at 4,800 energy stones. When he received the bone tempering pill, Qin Feng was overjoyed and promised Su Chen that he would return the energy stones to Su Chen as soon as he returned to the Sun Moon Star Palace. Su Chen did not care about this at all. He had no intention of taking back the 3,000 energy stones that he had given away. After the auction of the pills, the next item to be auctioned was a broken seal. From the outside, this seal was unremarkable and could even be said to be a little shabby. However, it exuded a kind of vicissitude and heavy aura. Even from afar, Su Chen could feel it. "Senior brother Qin, do you know the origin of this seal?" Su Chen vaguely felt that the origin of this seal was not simple, so he asked Qin Feng. "I'm not sure." Qin Feng shook his head and explained, "This seal is emitting a very strong aura. It should be an item with a great background." Su Chen nodded slightly. When he was considering whether to participate in the auction, planting space and pet-raising space sent a strong signal at the same time. Su Chen immediately opened the planting space to communicate with the longevity fruit tree. "Xiao Shou, what's the hurry?" The longevity fruit tree hurriedly replied, "Master, the big seal in the auction is called the 5 Elements Heavenly Dipper Seal. It originally belonged to the Vajra Willow." Vajra Willow's items? Vajra Willow was a saint stage expert when he was alive. Could it be that he was using a saint artifact? Thinking of this, Su Chen took a deep breath and asked tentatively, "Is the 5 Elements Tiangang's seal a divine weapon?" The longevity fruit tree replied affirmatively. Then it explained, "The 5 Elements Heavenly Dipper seal should be seriously damaged. Strictly speaking, it is no longer a divine artifact." The value of a divine artifact was self-evident. Even if it was damaged, it was not comparable to ordinary weapons. What's more, it was not impossible to repair it. After Su Chen closed the planting space, he opened the pet-raising space. Xiao Lu, you contacted me for the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal, right? Yes, Master, Vajra Willow said. Don't worry, I will help you get the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal. Su Chen promised and closed the pet-raising space. Chapter 633. At this time, the beautiful hostess began to speak. Everyone here must be wondering why a seal of such poor quality would appear in the auction. Speaking of this, she paused slightly, narrowed her eyes, and glanced around. Then, she continued, because it's a divine artifact. Divine artifact. It was actually a divine artifact. In the hall on the first floor, there were suddenly a few exclamations. It was obvious that the person who had shouted had heard of sacred artifacts. However, more people were at a loss. It was the first time they had heard of divine artifacts, so they did not know what they were used for. Brother Su, that seal is a divine artifact. You have to seize the opportunity, Chen Feng said excitedly. He could imagine that the appearance of a divine artifact would definitely be auctioned at an unprecedented price. With his financial resources, he could forget about getting it. However, Su Chen, the nouveau riche, could do it. Su Chen's expression was a little ugly. He did not expect so many people in the auction to know about divine artifacts. In this way, it was impossible to get a bargain. For this, he would have to spend a lot of energy stones. What is a divine artifact? Those who had not heard of divine artifacts asked. The beautiful hostess explained with a smile. As everyone knows, weapons are also divided into grades, from the 1st grade to the 10th grade. However, a divine artifact is a weapon that surpasses the 10th grade. Surpasses the 10th grade? Oh my god. In that case, as long as one had a divine artifact, wouldn't one be invincible? After knowing what a divine artifact was, the entire auction went crazy. Everyone's eyes were filled with a burning light. They could not wait to rush up to the stage and grab the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal. There's something I have to say in advance. The beautiful hostess motioned for everyone to calm down. When the auction quieted down, she explained, although this seal is a divine artifact, it is seriously damaged. Its power is not as strong as before. What did she mean? Did she mean that it was no longer a divine artifact? If it was no longer a divine artifact, who was she trying to scare? The auction fell into a discussion again. The beautiful hostess did not care. She cleared her throat and continued, although the quality of this seal is not as good as before, it was once a divine artifact after all. Its power is not comparable to ordinary weapons. Hearing that, the auction fell silent. A sacred artifact was a sacred artifact after all. Even if it was severely damaged, it still had a relatively high value. Everyone present knew this, so they were all eyeing the 5 elements heavenly gang seal covetously. Alright, I've said everything that needs to be said. The auction will officially begin now. The starting bid is 5,000 energy stones, and every increment must be no less than 500. The beautiful hostess didn't beat around the bush and directly announced the start of the auction. The price of 5,000 energy stones wasn't low, but it still couldn't stop the enthusiasm of the bidders. In the blink of an eye, the price had risen to 10,000 energy stones. Furthermore, this price did not last long before it was broken. Su Chen did not bid. He was waiting for a suitable opportunity to deal a fatal blow. When the bidding price reached 30,000 energy stones, there were only a few people who participated in the bidding. It was mainly the few private rooms on the 2nd floor that participated in the bidding. Room 7 bid 35,000 energy stones. Room 2 38,000 energy stones. Room 3 40,000 energy stones. Seeing the bidding price constantly rising, the beautiful hostess was extremely excited. She would always be the first to announce the latest price. Those fellows upstairs are really rich. They're all from great powers and clans. They're definitely not people we can compare to. The people in the hall on the first floor were extremely shocked when they saw the price rise madly to 40,000 energy stones. They could not help but sigh with emotion. Chapter 634. As soon as the price of 40,000 energy stones was announced, everyone who participated in the competition gave up. Just when everyone thought that the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal would be sold at the price of 40,000 energy stones, Su Chen made his move and directly bid 50,000 energy stones. Once he made his move, it would amaze the world. Faced with such a sky-high price, the hall on the first floor was in an uproar. What's the background of room 10? He's too arrogant. What a nouveau riche. Su Chen had already spent tens of thousands of energy stones previously, but he still had the energy to bid for the 5 elements heavenly dipper stone. Moreover, he bid 50,000 energy stones at once. His level of arrogance made everyone gasp in amazement. Room 10 bids 50,000 energy stones. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? The beautiful hostess shouted excitedly. 50,000 energy stones had far exceeded her expectations, and she was very satisfied. 60,000 energy stones. Oh my God! Room 3 bid 60,000 energy stones. The hall on the first floor shook again. The beautiful hostess took a deep breath, and her eyes shone brightly. However, this price was only maintained for a few breaths of time before Su Chen raised the price to 70,000 energy stones. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Since the establishment of the Yinji City auction, it had never been sold at such a high price. 70,000 energy stones had completely broken the record of the Yinji City auction, creating a new history. This price not only shocked the people at the auction, but even Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were speechless. Seeing that there were no new bids for a long time, Su Chen pursed his lips and said to himself, "Comparing wealth with me, you're all younger brothers. Is there anyone else who wants to bid?" The beautiful hostess shouted 3 times in a trembling voice. Seeing that no one else wanted to bid, she raised her voice and said, "Congratulations to room 10 for obtaining the sacred artifact seal." Soon, the waiter handed the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal to Su Chen. After paying the energy stones, Su Chen looked at the 5 elements heavenly dipper seal carefully for a while. Then, he opened the pet breeding space and sent it to King Kong Lu. "Little Lu, is this your seal?" Su Chen asked. "Master, that's it." Diamond Willow was inexplicably excited. Although she had become a zombie and had lost many memories of her previous life, Jin Gang Lu still cared a lot about the past. "The 5 elements heavenly gang seal is seriously damaged, but don't worry, I will find a way to help you repair it," Su Chen promised. Diamond Willow was already very strong. If he had a sacred artifact in hand, he might be able to compete with him. "Thank you, Master." Jin Lu was overjoyed. Su Chen nodded and did not say anything more. He then closed the pet raising space. "Qinggu, your soul orb has appeared." At this moment, Yang Hao reminded him. Su Chen's expression changed as he turned his head to look at the first floor. He saw the beautiful hostess holding the soul orb and introducing, "The last item of this auction is this orb in my hand." After showing the soul orb to everyone, she continued, "The origin and use of this orb are not clear for the time being, but it contains a very wonderful energy. It is definitely a rare treasure." After the beautiful hostess finished her introduction, she officially announced the start of the auction and set the price of the soul orb at 1,000 energy stones. As the effect of the soul orb was unknown, and the starting price was not low, no one bid at the beginning. If no one bid, the soul orb would not be sold, which would undoubtedly disrupt Su Chen's plan. So he was the first to bid. Chapter 635. Room 10 bids 1,000 energy stones. The beautiful MC raised her voice. Once an item failed to be sold in an auction, it would have a huge impact on both the auction and the auctioneer. He was slightly relieved that Su Chen was able to bid at this time. What was going on? Chen Gu was bidding for his own item? Yang Hao and the rest were confused. They had no idea what Su Chen was trying to do. Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi looked at each other. They were also confused. Xin Mingfei's eyes flickered. She guessed that Su Chen was trying to attract attention. This was because once someone recognized the soul orb, they would join the auction. Even if they did not participate in the auction, they might attack Su Chen after knowing that Su Chen had won the soul orb. In this way, Su Chen could follow the clues and find the whereabouts of the other scam beast. What a schemer! Shen Mingfei exclaimed from the bottom of her heart. Not only was Su Chen powerful, but his mind was also so meticulous. This was really scary. Not long after Su Chen bid 1,000 energy stones, Room 9 immediately raised the price to 10,000 energy stones. The beautiful MC was excited when she saw the price. She shouted loudly, "Room 9 bids 10,000 energy stones. Are there any more bids?" As soon as she finished speaking, Room 3 immediately bid 15,000 energy stones. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself, "Room 9? Room 3? He could imagine that since the other party had participated in the auction, they must know the origin of the soul orb. Perhaps one of the people in the room had a scam beast. At this moment, Su Chen was not in a hurry and did not continue bidding. Room 9 and Room 3 seemed to be determined to get the soul orb. Both parties kept bidding, so much so that the price had soared to 30,000 energy stones. 35,000 energy stones. Room 3 was silent for a while before bidding again. Room 9 Bao Xing did not hesitate at all. He immediately raised the price to 40,000 energy stones. Seeing an unknown bead being auctioned at such a sky-high price, the hall on the first floor could no longer remain calm. While sighing at the wealth of room number 9, he was also guessing what a soul orb was. As soon as the price of 40,000 energy stones was announced, room 3 fell silent. Seeing that no one else was bidding, Su Chen was prepared to call out a price. He would not allow the soul orb to fall into the hands of others. Unexpectedly, before he even had the chance to state his price, someone came out of nowhere and interrupted him. Room 1 that kept a low profile made the first bid. Moreover, it was a bid of 50,000 energy stones, and it raised the price by an entire 10,000 energy stones. Oh my God! 50,000 energy stones! How tyrannical! This price almost caught up with the transaction price of the 5 elements Tiangang seal, causing a commotion in the hall on the first floor. Su Chen frowned slightly. The sudden appearance of Box 1 caught him off guard. But no matter who the other party was, he would not give up the soul orb. 60,000 energy stones. Su Chen quickly announced the price. In the face of this sky-high price, the entire auction fell into a suffocating silence. If someone else had offered this price, it would have been easier for them to accept. The key was that Room 10 had offered the price. Room 10 had already spent more than 100,000 energy stones, but he could still offer a high price of 60,000 energy stones. His wealth was so great that it had reached a terrifying level. After Su Chen announced the price, no one else competed, and he successfully won the soul orb. Seeing that Su Chen had paid the energy stones and obtained the soul orb, Yang Hao and the others were completely dumbfounded. What kind of operation was this? He had sold it himself, and he had spent a sky-high price of 60,000 energy stones. In the end, did he not waste 3,000 energy stones for nothing? Even if he was rich, he could not be so willful, right? Chapter 636. Su Chen smiled and did not explain anything. Instead, he reminded them, "You guys stay in the room later. Don't go out for now. I'll go out alone to do something." He was almost certain that those who were eyeing the soul orbs would have some ulterior motives. He had to take the initiative to create an opportunity for them. As a precaution, Su Chen also left the steel willow and the mechanical soldier behind. They were both level 7 cultivators and were much stronger than their peers. Even if they met a level 8 cultivator, they would not have any problems. Brother Su, there are also level 8 mutated tribesmen in Yanji City. You have to be careful, Chen Feng whispered. At this moment, he already knew Su Chen's intention. Su Chen's goal was to lure the snake out of its hole. By doing so, there was a high possibility of luring out the person with the beast of deception. However, there was also a high possibility that he would be surrounded by many strong people. Of course, with Su Chen's strength, there was almost no one who could pose a threat to him. Chen Feng was just reminding him. They are nothing to be afraid of. Su Chen smiled and said, "Senior brother Chen, I'll have to trouble you and senior sister Xia to take care of this place." "Brother Su, don't worry." Chen Feng promised solemnly. Su Chen nodded slightly. Before he left, he suppressed his cultivation to level 5 and walked out of the room. At this moment in the auction, everyone's attention was focused on room 10. They all wanted to see who the person in room 10 was. When Su Chen walked out alone, there were intense discussions and exclamations all around. "Oh my god! Why is he so young? He seems to be a level 5 cultivator, right? Which big power does he belong to?" Just as everyone was guessing Su Chen's identity, 2 women, one old and one young, walked out of room 9 and went straight to Su Chen's side. Su Chen looked at them and raised his eyebrows slightly. The 2 women who came here were not humans. They were tall and had an otherworldly temperament. Their biggest feature was a pair of pointed ears. That young woman had a delicate and pretty appearance. Her skin was white, tender, and crystalline, and it seemed as if she was carved out of jade. She gave others a lively feeling. Her beauty was even more outstanding than Tan Lin and Yang Qian. As for the old woman, she had a head of long silver-white hair. Although she wasn't young anymore, she still retained her charm. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said coolly, "Is something the matter?" The young woman blinked and introduced herself with a smile. "Friend, we are from the elf clan. My name is Moon Spirit, and this is Elder Feather of our elf clan." Su Chen nodded slightly and waited for Moon Spirit to continue. "Our objective for coming here is very simple. We are here for soul beads. Although we do not have many energy stones, we can use other items to trade for them," Moon Spirit said straightforwardly. Su Chen narrowed his eyes, his mind slowly turning. The fact that Moon Spirit knew about soul beads was within his expectations. However, when he checked the sensor bead in his storage bag, he found that there was no change in its color. This also meant that Moon Spirit and Elder Feather did not have any beasts with them. The soul beads were used to attract the person with the beasts. Of course, they would not be used for trade. "Not interested." Su Chen replied coldly and turned to walk out of the auction house. "Friend, please think about it," Moon Spirit said anxiously. Although Elder Feather did not say anything, she looked at Su Chen with a gloomy expression. Su Chen was unmoved. Under everyone's gaze, he quickly walked out of the auction house. Chapter 637. Princess, let's go after him. Elder Feather Chi gave Moon Spirit a look. Moon Spirit hesitated for a moment, but eventually decided to chase after Su Chen with Elder Feather Chi. Not long after Moon Spirit and Elder Feather Chi left, 2 female elves also appeared in Box 3. One of them looked like Moon Spirit, but the only difference was that she had a ruthless look in her eyes, which was a sharp contrast to Moon Spirit's cleverness. "Princess Yuqing, should we follow them?" An old elf woman with a face as pale as a withered tree asked in a low voice. "Elder Feather Dragon, I have a feeling that the human is not simple, he should be more than level 5. Yuqing said. Elder Feather Dragon said disdainfully, "So what if he is hiding his strength? He should be less than 20 years old, at most level 6, we don't have to worry about him." Yuqing nodded slightly and said coldly, "Elder Feather Dragon is right, we must stop Moon Spirit from getting the soul orb. If that kid doesn't know what's good for him, we will kill him." Yuqing and Elder Feather Dragon reached an agreement and left the auction. At this time, 2 middle-aged men walked out of Box 1, they whispered a few words and left the auction quickly. After Su Chen walked out of the auction, he felt a few pairs of eyes staring at him. He knew what they wanted, they must have seen that his cultivation was not high, so they wanted to rob him. A bunch of idiots. Su Chen sneered in his heart and sped up, heading straight out of the city. There were too many people in the city, it would be inconvenient to take action, it would be better to find a deserted place outside the city and kill them all. After an hour, Su Chen appeared in a small forest more than 20 miles away from Yanji City. "Satoshi, Check how many people are coming? Su Chen immediately opened his storage bag and asked the intelligent chariot. Master, there are a total of 10 groups of people coming here, and their cultivation is not low. There are a few level 8 cultivators. The intelligent chariot quickly replied. So many? Su Chen frowned slightly. He wasn't worried about the other party's strength. No matter how many of them came, he was confident that he could catch them all in one fell swoop. He was worried that he would alert the enemy. This was because among the 10 waves of people, there would definitely be someone with a beast. Once he revealed his strength, it would be troublesome to scare him away. Just as Su Chen was pondering what to do, the intelligent war chariot suddenly reminded him, Master, there's a wave of people coming. Su Chen turned around and swept his gaze behind him, only to see 4 men with a pair of white wings descending from the sky, very tacitly surrounding him. Winged race. Su Chen raised his eyebrows. When he was in Thousand Feather Island's Yulin district, he had killed many members of the Flying Feather race and had a deep impression of them, so he recognized them at a glance. Kid, since you know that we're from the Flying Feather tribe, hand over the item if you know what's good for you, and we'll leave your corpse intact. One of the members of the Flying Feather race glanced coldly at Su Chen and laughed sinisterly. Su Chen checked the sensor bead in his storage bag and found that it didn't have any changes, so he knew that these 4 people of the Flying Feather race did not have a beast. Since they didn't have a beast, he naturally wouldn't let them go. Su Chen smirked and instantly released his mind power, sweeping toward the 4 people of the Flying Feather race. Chapter 638. What a powerful spiritual energy. Senior, please spare our lives. The strongest of the 4 Flying Feather tribe members was only at level 6. Facing Su Chen's spiritual energy, which was comparable to level 8, they could not resist at all. At this moment, all of them were terrified and kept begging Su Chen for mercy. Su Chen remained unmoved. He manipulated his mental power and stirred the 4 Flying Feather clansmen. They exploded into a pile of broken limbs and scattered on the ground. At the same time, a piece of shiny shard appeared. Su Chen had just collected the shard when he saw a flash in the forest. 2 more people appeared in front of him. They were Moon Spirit and Elder Qiuyu, who wanted to trade with him for the soul orb at the auction. Do you 2 want to die? Su Chen's face turned cold when he saw who they were. Friend, we have no ill intentions. We are really here to trade with you. Seeing that Su Chen's expression was a little bad, Moon Spirit hurriedly explained. Scram. Su Chen said coldly without hesitation. If it were not for the fact that the person with the beast of extortion was nearby and he was worried that he would scare the person away, he would not have given Moon Spirit a chance to speak. Moon Spirit trembled slightly as her beautiful face turned deathly pale. Elder Yuqi was so angry that the corners of his mouth twitched. He glanced at the broken limbs around him and said in a deep voice, Human, I know you're hiding your strength, but there's always someone stronger. Don't be too arrogant. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at Elder Qiuyu. Gulp. Elder Qiuyu felt a cold, murderous intent as soon as she made eye contact with Su Chen. Even with her level 7 cultivation, she felt her heart palpitate. She could not help but swallow her saliva. Moon Spirit saw that the situation was not good. She said hurriedly, the soul orb is used to help blood-type beasts awaken their special abilities. However, it cannot guarantee a successful awakening. I have something that can guarantee a successful awakening. I can trade with you. Su Chen, who was about to make a move, was stunned for a moment. He looked at Moon Spirit again and said in a low voice, Is what you said true? If you dare to lie, don't blame me for being impolite. Just as Moon Spirit had said, the soul beads could not help the super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito awaken its magical powers 100%, even if there were 2 soul beads. If Moon Spirit really had something that could guarantee an awakening, he could indeed consider an exchange. I have a blood spirit stone. Its value is completely above that of your soul bead. I can exchange it with you, Moon Spirit quickly said. She didn't even consider whether Su Chen had heard of the blood spirit stone or not. Blood spirit stone? Su Chen muttered to himself and quietly opened the pet feeding space. He communicated with the flaming phoenix telepathically. Little Flame, do you know about blood spirit stones? Master, the blood spirit stone is one of the most precious blood-type spirit stones in the world, the flaming phoenix said excitedly. Su Chen's expression changed and he said, can the blood spirit stone help little gold awaken its magical powers? Even if it's a piece of trash, it's fine. If the big mosquito really can't awaken its magical powers, it's useless to keep it. Master, you might as well kill it, the flaming phoenix said solemnly. The super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito was angry, but it didn't dare to say anything. After receiving the flaming phoenix's confirmation, Su Chen closed the pet feeding space and said to Moon Spirit, I agree to the exchange, but before that, I have a condition. Chapter 639. What condition? Moon Spirit suppressed her excitement. There are too many scammers in this world. Su Chen pursed his lips and said calmly, so we have to verify the authenticity of the blood spirit stone first. Princess, be careful of being fooled. Elder Seventh Feather whispered in Moon Spirit's ear. Moon Spirit hesitated for a moment. Finally, she gritted her teeth, took out a thumb-sized blood-colored stone, and gave it to Su Chen. It should be. Su Chen nodded slightly as he clearly felt the extremely thick blood qi and energy fluctuations contained in the stone. He then sent it into the pet breeding space and instructed the super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito to swallow it. After waiting for a dozen seconds, the super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito shouted excitedly, Master, I've awakened a divine ability called Devouring Heaven and Bloodthirsty. Then it laughed wildly. Ha! I'd like to see who dares to bully me in the future, Big Turtle and Big Bird. Bang bang bang, after a series of muffled sounds, the heavenly overlord Tortoise and Lai Ran Phoenix joined forces and pinned the super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito to the ground. Devouring Heaven and Bloodthirsty? It sounds awesome. Su Chen muttered to himself. He ignored the three spiritual pets and closed the pet breeding space. Then he looked at Moon Spirit. Your blood spirit stone is real. The soul orb is yours. Just as Su Chen was about to hand over the soul bead to Moon Spirit, a cold rebuke sounded in his ears. Human, if you dare to give the soul orb to her, you'll be a dead man in the next moment. Hearing this, Su Chen frowned and looked in the direction of the voice. He had not seen anyone who dared to be so arrogant in front of him for a long time. He wanted to see who dared to be so arrogant. Soon, the figures of two women appeared in his sight. To Su Chen's surprise, the two of them were also from the elf clan. Moreover, the young woman looked 90% similar to Moon Spirit as if they were twin sisters. With the appearance of these two elves, Moon Spirit and Elder Feather's expressions became very unsightly. Yuqing, are you really going to kill them all? Yu Ling glared at Yuqing. She was so angry that her body was trembling. Yuqing chuckled and replied coldly, you should know the rules of the elf tribe very well. We can only have one king. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame Mother for being too biased. You forced me to do this. Moon Spirit clenched her fists in anger. But I've already announced that I'm withdrawing from the fight for the throne. Why won't you let me go? You even want to work with outsiders to poison Imperial Mother? If you don't die, how can I be at ease? Yuqing snorted coldly. Yu Ling was so angry that her mouth trembled. All of a sudden, a golden longbow appeared in his hand. It was flowing with colorful lights and contained an extremely strong energy fluctuation. At first glance, one could tell that it was not an ordinary item. Princess, you have to calm down. Elder Yuqi stood in front of Moon Spirit and kept signaling with his eyes. You want to kill me? Do you have the ability to do that? Yuqing snorted and smiled contemptuously. Since young, in terms of scheming and cultivation, which one of you can compare to me? Only under my leadership can the elven race regain its glory. Hearing this, Moon Spirit fell silent. Su Chen shook his head secretly. The struggle for the throne had always been one of mutual deception and viciousness. In terms of ability, Yuqing was indeed more suitable than Moon Spirit to be the queen of the elf tribe. This was someone else's family matter. Originally, he did not want to get involved. However, Elder Yulong had threatened him before. With his style of doing things, naturally, he would not take it lying down. Chapter 640. Both of you, I want to make another deal with you. Su Chen looked at Moon Spirit and Elder Qian and said calmly, "What deal?" Moon Spirit was a little confused and asked subconsciously, "It's simple. I'll help you kill these two and you'll give me the longbow in your hand." Su Chen pointed at Yuqing and Elder Qian and said calmly, "The longbow in Moon Spirit's hand was much better than the silver longbow she got at the auction. If she gave it to Yang Qian, her strength would definitely increase by a lot. Moreover, she already had a conflict with Yuqing and Elder Qian. If she took the opportunity to kill them, not only would she get rid of a future threat, but she would also get a batch of fragments. It was killing 3 birds with 1 stone. In the end, this deal was a sure win and no loss." Ah! Moon Spirit was stunned. Until now, she only felt that Su Chen was a little dangerous, but she did not think that Su Chen was hiding his cultivation. Su Chen was only at level 5, but he threatened to kill Yuqing, who was at level 6, and Elder Yulong, who was at level 7. Wasn't he digging his own grave? Elder Yuqi, who was at the side, was a little excited. Previously, Su Chen only glared at her, and she felt a sense of danger. She thought that Su Chen must be hiding his cultivation, and that he was much stronger than her. If Su Chen made a move, with her help, there was a high chance that they could kill Yuqing and Elder Qian. "You want to kill us?" Elder Yulong widened her eyes and looked at Su Chen as if she was looking at a fool. When she came back to her senses, her eyes were filled with endless killing intent. Yuqing frowned slightly and said coldly, "Human, this is not something you can participate in. If you don't want to die, you'd better behave." Su Chen rubbed his nose. Just as he was about to reply, several groups of people rushed over from all directions. They were all people who had followed them all the way here. Not only were there humans, but there were also people from other races. 3 of them were emitting powerful auras. They were at level 8. Su Chen raised his eyebrows and glanced at the 3 of them one by one. The first one was a tall, cold-looking night demon. The second one was a stooped old man with a face full of wrinkles. Judging from his aura, he was not a human. As for which race he belonged to, it was impossible to tell at the moment. The third was a middle-aged man in a yellow robe with a dignified aura. When Su Chen's gaze landed on the yellow-robed man, the other party was also sizing up Su Chen with interest. At this moment, Su Chen quietly opened his storage bag and looked at the sensor bead. At this moment, the sensory pearl was emitting a dense light. The reaction was very strong. This meant that there was definitely someone with a black male beast hidden among these people. Although Su Chen wasn't sure who it was, he didn't care at all because he wouldn't let any of these people go. "Are you all here for me?" Su Chen took the initiative to speak when he saw that everyone was glaring at him like a tiger watching its prey, but none of them made a move or said anything. Why isn't he afraid at all? Seeing that Su Chen was surrounded by so many strong cultivators, but he was still calm and collected, Yu Ling muttered in her heart. The yellow-robed man snorted coldly and turned to the others. "Everyone, I'm sure you're all here for the things this kid has, right?" Seeing that everyone was silent, he continued, "To avoid conflict, I suggest that after killing him together, we divide his things equally. I'll say this first, I only want that soul crystal." Chapter 641. As a level 8 cultivator, the yellow-robed man's words carried a certain amount of weight. The group of powerhouses nodded in agreement. The night demon man also spoke at this moment. "I only want one thing, and that's the seal. If anyone dares to snatch it from me, don't blame me for falling out with you." Currently, the most valuable thing on Su Chen's body was the 5 Elements Heavenly Dipper seal. Most of the people here were here for it. However, since the night demon man had spoken, no one dared to say anything because of his powerful strength. The hunchbacked elder frowned slightly. After pondering for a moment, he raised his voice and said, "I've taken a fancy to this kid's storage bag. As for the things inside, we can share them equally." A cold smile appeared on Yu Qing's face. He turned to look at Su Chen and said mockingly, "We don't want anything as long as we can kill this kid." Previously, Su Chen had boasted shamelessly that he would kill them. He wanted to see how Su Chen would escape this time. "Princess, let's drive away." Elder Yu Qi sighed faintly and gave Moon Spirit a look. Originally, she was counting on Su Chen to kill Yu Qing and Yu Qing. However, with the appearance of the group of powerhouses, she knew that Su Chen would not be able to survive, let alone kill Yu Qing and Yu Qing. If they did not leave in time, they might be implicated. Elder Yu Qi, after all, he wants to help us. Moon Spirit bit her thin lips and stood stubbornly in place. Just as Elder Yu Qi wanted to persuade them, Su Chen spoke first. "The two of you, the deal I mentioned before is still valid. What do you think?" Moon Spirit was stunned. She really did not understand why Su Chen still dared to say such things at this time. Elder Yu Qi's thoughts turned slowly. She seemed to have made up her mind. She gritted her teeth and said, "I agree on behalf of the princess. As long as you can kill them, the golden longbow will be yours." She also didn't understand why Su Chen was so fearless. She was just trying to make a last resort. If Su Chen could kill Yu Qing and the other two, they would have profited greatly. If they were killed instead, they wouldn't have to hand over their golden longbows, and they wouldn't lose anything. "Deal." The corners of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly as he turned to look at Yu Qing and the other two. At the same time, his aura rose steadily, and he returned to level 7 in the blink of an eye. "He's a level 7 cultivator." Cries of surprise rang out from all around. He really hit his cultivation. Elder Yu Qi sighed secretly, but there was no trace of joy on his face. In her opinion, even if Su Chen had reached level 7, he still wouldn't have the slightest chance of winning. This was because there were 3 level 8 cultivators present. Each of them could easily crush him. "So what if you're a level 7 cultivator?" Elder Yu Long snorted disdainfully. Although he spoke casually, he was already holding a silver scimitar in front of him in a defensive posture. As Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed, he instantly released his mind power, which swept towards Yu Qing and the other person. "Spirit Reader!" Elder Yu Long was horrified. She could clearly feel an invisible force binding her body. Moreover, this force was far beyond her imagination. Even if she used all her strength, she couldn't break free. What a powerful mind power! Yu Qing's beautiful face turned pale, and her eyes were filled with deep fear. At this moment, she realized that Su Chen was not boasting shamelessly. It turned out that he really had the ability to kill them. "You can go to hell now." Su Chen snorted coldly and punched out. Chapter 642. Amidst the shrill whistling sound, 100 golden fist shadows suddenly appeared in the air. Each fist shadow exuded a powerful aura, giving people a strong sense of fear. What a powerful secret fist technique! The surrounding experts were all experienced and knowledgeable. Soon, some of them recognized that Su Chen was using a secret fist technique and exclaimed, "Stop! We are members of the elf tribe's royal family. If you dare to kill us, you will be going against the entire elf tribe." Sensing the arrival of death, Elder Yu Long roared loudly, trying to use her identity to intimidate Su Chen. Su Chen's lips curled into a contemptuous smile as he punched out from afar. He didn't even take the 5 super races seriously, let alone the elf tribe. Bang, bang, bang. In the next moment, the golden fist shadows came crashing down and instantly drowned Yu Qing and Elder Yu Long. Accompanied by an earth-shattering crash, Elder Yu Long was smashed into powder without any resistance. However, to Su Chen's surprise, Yu Qing, who was 1 level lower than Elder Yu Long, was not killed. The reason was that there was something like an energy shield around his body, blocking all the fist shadows that came crashing down. However, after suffering dozens of heavy blows, dense cracks had already appeared on the energy light, and it looked like it was about to shatter. As Su Chen's powerful punch landed, the surroundings became silent. The group of experts looked at Su Chen in unison with a hint of awe in their eyes. So he is so powerful. Moon Spirit looked at Su Chen with her beautiful eyes and murmured in a daze. After a brief moment of shock, Elder Chi Yu suddenly became very excited. She absolutely did not think that Su Chen actually killed Elder Yulong, and it was an instant kill. Everyone, this kid is a little strange. Let's join forces to kill him. The yellow-robed man rolled his eyes and suggested. At first, they didn't take Su Chen seriously. However, as Su Chen displayed his strength, none of them dared to be careless. A person who could kill a level 7 cultivator in an instant was definitely a super expert, worthy of their full strength. I have the same idea. Then let's attack together. The Night Demon Man laughed wildly and was the first to charge at Su Chen. The others also attacked Su Chen without hesitation. Yu Qing didn't join in. Instead, she quietly retreated. However, her eyes were filled with the flames of extreme hatred. She muttered fiercely, "Damn human, let's see how you escape this time." On the other side, Su Chen was surrounded by so many experts. He didn't act and directly used the Atlas polymorph. Crack, crack, crack. With the sound of his bones cracking, his body instantly rose to a height of 30 meters. At the same time, his cultivation had also entered level 8. He knows his own body technique. He has reached level 8. Witnessing this scene, the group of experts besieging Su Chen hesitated. A bunch of trash. He is alone. What are you afraid of? Seeing that his side's momentum was falling, the Night Demon Man roared in desperation. He still clenched his fist and smashed it at Su Chen. Then I'll kill you first. Su Chen snorted coldly. After using the Heavenly Hundredfold Vigor technique, he threw a punch at the Night Demon Man. Boom! With an ear-piercing explosion, the Night Demon Man's arm and half of his body exploded. Although he didn't die immediately, he was more out of breath than in. It seemed that he wouldn't survive. Chapter 643. Hiss. Witnessing this terrifying scene, the sound of cold air being sucked in could be heard from all around. None of the people present had expected that a level 8 evolver, one of the night demons who was known for their strong physical bodies, would be blasted apart by a human of the same level with a single punch. It was too inconceivable. It was unbelievable. At the same time, fear began to spread in everyone's hearts. Who is he? How can he be so strong? Yu Ling and Elder Yu Qi were both surprised and confused. How can this be? Yu Qing's body trembled and her face turned pale. For the first time, she wanted to run away. Su Chen's strength was beyond her imagination. If she continued to stay, she might really be killed. Quite a few people had this idea, especially those with lower cultivations. They had already begun to slowly retreat. Want to run? Su Chen squinted his eyes, and a cold smile appeared on his face. All of a sudden, a pitch-black long blade appeared in his hand. After pouring ice magic power into it, he swept the blade horizontally. In an instant, a white torrent swept forward, and a terrifying chill spread out. It was as if the surroundings had fallen into a glacier. What a terrifying ice elemental spell! Yu Ling and Elder Yu Qi's mouths trembled as they exclaimed. Although Su Chen's ice elemental spell was not targeted at them, they still felt a bone-chilling coldness. They could not help but tremble. The others who were enveloped by the ice elemental spell used all their means to struggle. However, Su Chen's ice elemental spell had merged with 2 ice elemental manifestations, and it was released through the enchanted saber. Its power was unparalleled, and it was beyond level 9. How could they resist it? Wherever the white torrent passed, all the powerhouses were turned into ice sculptures. The injured night demon who fell to the ground froze to death on the spot, and hundreds of shards fell out. Elder Ghost, save me! Seeing the white torrent sweeping over, Yu Qing screamed desperately. There was a loud bang. A cloud of black mist suddenly exploded beside Yu Qing. After condensing, it turned into an ugly old man. He frowned, and a powerful spiritual energy shot out and wrapped around Yu Qing, blocking the attack of the white torrent. Interesting. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and snorted coldly. Yu Qing had many tricks up his sleeves. Being able to dodge 2 fatal attacks in a row was truly unexpected. However, he had only revealed the tip of the iceberg. At this moment, he planned to use other means to kill Yu Qing completely. But at this moment, the ugly old man suddenly spoke. "Human, let us go. Otherwise, don't even think about having an easy time." "Threatening me?" Su Chen sneered and released his spiritual power to crush forward. Level 9 Spiritual Power. The ugly old man's expression turned extremely ugly when he felt an invisible force sweeping over him. However, he did not wait for his death and released his mental power to resist it. The 2 violent mental powers tangled together, and the void was distorted. Faint ripples appeared. "Human, you want to kill us? You're too inexperienced." Realizing that Su Chen's mental power could not do anything to him, the ugly old man laughed maniacally. Su Chen showed a sarcastic expression and waved his hand forward. All of a sudden, a small mountain of 5 different colors appeared and smashed down towards the ugly old man and his companion. Chapter 644. Divine Weapon. The ugly old man was shocked. He could not care less about protecting Yu Qing as he turned around and ran. "Senior!" Yu Qing let out a desperate cry. Without the protection of the ugly old man, she was crushed by the surging spiritual power. Her entire body was instantly torn into pieces, bursting into pieces that shone with a luster. Before the ugly old man could take more than a few steps, a flaming phoenix suddenly appeared above his head. A sharp cry was heard. A fireball the size of a human face fell from the sky. Feeling the terrifying power of the fireball, the ugly old man was terrified. He desperately released his mind energy to block it. Sizzle! After a short stalemate, the mind energy quickly dissipated. How is this possible? The ugly old man was terrified as if he had seen a ghost. The mind energy he released was comparable to a level 9 mind energy, but it could not block a level 7 fireball. It was unbelievable. At the same time, Su Chen controlled the combined 5 extremes mountain and smashed it on the ugly old man's head. There was a loud bang. The ugly old man did not even have time to scream before he was smashed into pieces. "He's too strong." Seeing Su Chen kill a group of powerhouses like a rabbit rising from the ground, Yu Ling and Elder Qi Yu were completely stunned. Su Chen withdrew the combined 5 extremes mountain and looked around. Finally, his gaze fell on the yellow-robed man. Crack! With the sound of ice breaking, the ice on the yellow-robed man's body shattered and fell off his body in the blink of an eye. "I underestimated you." Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said calmly. The yellow-robed man was only level 8, but he was able to escape from Lin Huang's level 9 frost spell unscathed. His strength was only average. "For you?" The yellow-robed man gritted his teeth and asked in a muffled voice. In his opinion, Su Chen's strength was much stronger than that of a level 9 powerhouse. Logically speaking, he should have heard of such a powerful human powerhouse. However, the impression that Su Chen gave him was extremely unfamiliar. In other words, it was very likely that Su Chen was not a powerhouse from the mysterious heavenly mainland. Instead, he came from another island. "You are not qualified to know my name." Su Chen curled his lips and smiled contemptuously. "Hand over the blackmail beast and I'll give you a quick death." "So it's for the sake of extorting beasts." The yellow-robed man suddenly realized. At this moment, he finally understood why Su Chen dared to leave Yanji City without concealing himself after obtaining the soul orb. So it was to lure him into a trap. What was laughable was that he had not taken Su Chen seriously at that time. He had thought that with his level 8 cultivation, it would be easy for him to crush Su Chen. Unexpectedly, Su Chen's strength was far beyond his imagination. It was too late for regrets. "I can give you the beast, but you have to let me go." After weighing their strengths, the yellow-robed man felt that the possibility of him escaping was very small. So, he began to bargain with Su Chen. "You want to bargain with me? Are you worthy?" Su Chen sneered. The yellow-robed man's life was in Lin Huang's hands, yet he still dared to bargain with him. Obviously, he had not realized the severity of the situation. The yellow-robed man's face turned pale. He held back his anger and said, "I'm indeed not your opponent, but it's not that easy for you to kill me. Also, I have another identity. I'm an elder of the Forgotten Autumn Mountains Black Beast Lodge. My name is Shin Ruohong. If you kill me, you'll be going against the entire Forgotten Autumn Mountain." Chapter 645. "You're Shin Ruohong," Su Chen muttered. Previously he had killed 2 disciples of the beast camp and found out from them that Shin Ruohong was the one who had ordered them to look for the cracker beast. Given this, it was understandable that the other cracker beast was in Shin Ruohong's hands. However, Shin Ruohong was only an elder of the beast camp. How could his life and death affect the entire Forgotten Autumn Mountain? He thought too highly of himself. "What do you think? What do you think of my suggestion?" Seeing that Su Chen did not reply, Shin Ruohong thought that Su Chen was afraid, so he raised his voice and asked. "Nothing much." Su Chen snorted and released his mind power, which swept toward Shin Ruohong. "I'll fight you to the death." Shin Ruohong was furious. After roaring, he quickly opened the spirit beast pouch at his waist. Suddenly, an extremely thick smell of blood spread out from it. Hee. Accompanied by a shrill shriek, a ferocious and terrifying head suddenly appeared in front of Shin Ruohong. "Devour a beast." Su Chen raised his eyebrows. The head that appeared in front of him was none other than the famous Devourer beast of the Demon Clan. When he was at Purple Mountain, he had even killed one. However, the Devourer beast at Purple Mountain was only at level 6, and the one in front of him was at level 8. However, Su Chen was no longer the same person he used to be. Moreover, he had the ancient godly demon body, which could completely suppress the Devourer beast. It could be said that the appearance of this level 8 Devourer beast did not pose any threat to him. "Do you think you can be fearless with just one Devourer beast?" Su Chen smiled contemptuously, then opened the pet-rearing space and summoned the Super Devourer Ancient Adamantine Mosquito. "Level 8 Insect Beast." Shin Ruohong exclaimed. Su Chen had so many tricks up his sleeves that it was shocking. He had already summoned a level 7 flame spiritual pet, and now he had summoned a level 8 insect beast. How were they supposed to fight? "Little Gold, Little Flame, you too kill this Devourer beast." Su Chen pointed at the Devourer beast and gave the order. Originally, with his strength, it would be easy for him to kill the devouring beast. However, at the thought that the super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito had just awakened its magical power, he wanted to take the opportunity to see how powerful it was. "Master, I don't need the big bird to help me. I can deal with it myself," the super ancient devouring golden mosquito said confidently. "Tisk." Flaming Phoenix snorted in disdain. Su Chen froze for a moment, then nodded and said, "Then you can go alone. Don't disappoint me." "Master, just watch." The super ancient devouring Vajra mosquito flapped its wings and charged toward the devourer beast. "You're courting death." The devouring beast flew into a rage. It opened its bloody mouth and shot out several black rays toward the super devouring ancient adamantine mosquito. As a famous bloodline beast of the monster beast clan, it was actually looked down upon by a mosquito. This was intolerable. Therefore, it used its trump card right from the start. It swore to kill the super ancient devouring golden mosquito in one blow. On the other side, the super ancient devouring golden mosquito was not to be outdone. A layer of blood-red light waves appeared on its long suction needle, and then it shot out a blood-red ray. It collided with the black rays in mid-flight and easily destroyed them. It then shot toward the devouring beast's head without slowing down. Then, the super ancient devouring golden mosquito sucked. A strange scene appeared. Countless cracks appeared on the devouring beast's huge head. blood spurted out from the cracks and flowed into the super-ancient devouring golden mosquito's mouth. Chapter 646. The devouring beast shrieked in agony as it quickly shriveled up. In the end, it was sucked dry and turned into a bag of bones, losing all signs of life. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. A level 8 beast had been killed so easily? Even Su Chen, who had high hopes for the super-devouring ancient gorilla mosquito, found it unbelievable. Big Bird, am I good? The super-devouring ancient gorilla mosquito burped and shouted at the flaming phoenix proudly. The flaming phoenix turned around and ignored it. However, it thought to itself, looks like I can't bully the mosquito as I wish anymore. The moment Shenruohong saw the devouring beast being killed, his heart turned cold. He knew that if he did not run now, he would never have the chance to do so again. When he came back to his senses, he turned around and ran. However, Su Chen would not give him the chance. After activating the rapid combat boots, he was like a flash of light as he quickly chased after Shenruohong. As he released his spiritual power to trap Shenruohong, he smashed the combined 5 extremes mountain from the sky and smashed Shenruohong into a pile of meat paste. After that, he carried Shenruohong's spirit beast pouch and returned to his original spot. There might be a beast in the spirit beast pouch. However, Su Chen was not in a hurry to check it. Instead, his gaze fell on the 2 ice sculptures. Of these 2 ice sculptures, one was the level 8 old man and the other was the middle-aged man who had been inseparable from Shenruohong. From the outside, these 2 ice sculptures were no different from the other ice sculptures. They did not have any signs of life. However, Su Chen found something suspicious. The other ice sculptures had more or less dropped shards. Only these 2 ice sculptures did not drop a single shard. There were 2 possibilities for this situation. First, there was a chance for shards to drop, and these 2 ice sculptures did not drop any shards. However, this possibility was very small. This was because as one's level increased, not only would the chance of shards drop increase, but the number of shards would also increase. As a level 8 mutated race cultivator, how could the old man not drop a single shard? The second possibility was that these 2 people had used a special method to hide their auras. On the surface, they looked dead, but in fact, they were still alive. Su Chen felt that the second possibility was very likely. In order to verify the authenticity, he threw a punch at the middle-aged man. With a loud roar, the middle-aged man exploded. Immediately afterward, a blood-colored insect flashing with red light shot out and fled into the distance. Crimson worm. Su Chen's eyes turned cold as he released his mental power to bind the crimson bug. Senior, please spare my life. Realizing that it could no longer move, Crimson Bug roared in fear. Level 6 Crimson Bug. Looks like the Valley Master of Spirit Snake Valley is being controlled by you. Su Chen murmured as he killed the Crimson Bug mercilessly. Then, his gaze landed on the hunchbacked old man and he said mockingly, "Do you still intend to continue acting?" Bang bang bang. Crack. Just as Su Chen finished his sentence, the ice on the hunchbacked old man shattered. However, to everyone's surprise, the hunchbacked old man did not choose to escape, nor did he attack Su Chen. Instead, he knelt on the ground and said in a trembling voice, "Senior, I'm willing to submit to you. Please don't kill me." Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked softly, "Which race are you from? What's your name?" The hunchbacked old man immediately replied, "Senior, my name is Mo Rong. I'm from the undead tribe." Chapter 647. Undead Tribe. Su Chen looked at Mo Rong in a daze and frowned slightly. He remembered clearly that he had killed an undead tribe member in the Forgotten Worries Sea outside of Chinyu Island. However, that undead tribe member was in the form of a skeleton, completely different from Mo Rong. Could it be that Mo Rong was lying? Su Chen's eyes turned cold as he thought of this. He snorted and said, "Do you think I have never seen an undead tribe member? May I ask what kind of undead tribe member you have seen?" Mo Rong asked in a trembling voice. A skeleton, Su Chen said coldly. Mo Rong sighed and explained, Senior, you may not know this, but some extreme members of the undead tribe will destroy their physical bodies because they are unable to achieve a breakthrough in their cultivation. They will use this to cultivate their mental strength in order to achieve a breakthrough. There is such a thing? Su Chen could not believe it. What was the point of living if they turned themselves into a skeleton? This was not extreme, it was self-torture. Senior, if you don't believe me, you can ask the elf tribe. They often interact with our tribe, Mo Rong reminded him. Su Chen turned to look at Moon Spirit and Mo Rong. Senior, there is such a thing, Moon Spirit replied confidently. Su Chen nodded slightly and looked at Mo Rong. He sneered and said, Those who are not of my tribe will have different intentions. Therefore you still have to die. As soon as he finished speaking, lightning gathered in his palm, and a terrifying wave of thunder and lightning spread out. Senior, please wait. I have an important piece of information. It is enough to exchange for my life. Seeing that Su Chen was about to attack, Mo Rong shouted in fear. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said calmly, You better not lie to me. Mo Rong wiped away his cold sweat. He felt as if he had been on the verge of death. Under Su Chen's gaze, he quickly said, Senior, I know a place that has a large number of level 9 energy stones. Level 9 energy stones. Su Chen's eyes widened. His expression changed. Level 9 energy stones were too important to him. Be it the upgrade of the intelligent chariot, to level 9, or the mechanical soldier, to level 9, they were both indispensable items. Are you telling the truth? How do you prove it? Su Chen took a deep breath. After calming down, he stared at Mo Rong. Senior, I can swear to the heavenly Tao that every word I said is true. Mo Rong swore solemnly. Hearing this, Su Chen fell into deep thought. Although the heavenly oath had a certain binding effect, it could not guarantee that what Mo Rong said was true. Furthermore, if she agreed to Mo Rong's request, she would have to keep him by her side. What if he betrayed her? After all, Mo Rong was also a level 8 cultivator and could pose a fatal threat to others. However, he was extremely unwilling to give up on the level 9 energy stone. Moon Spirit stepped forward and said respectfully, Senior, I would like to make another deal with you. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He whispered, Tell me about it. Moon Spirit had many good items on her. First, there was the Blood Spirit Stone, then there was the Golden Longbow. Every one of them was priceless. Su Chen was quite interested in Moon Spirit's request for another deal. Senior, you should have a soul orb, right? I would like to use an oath stone to exchange for it, Moon Spirit said slowly. Princess, you can't. Elder Yu Qi hurriedly stopped her. Moon Spirit's face darkened. Elder Yu Qi, have you forgotten about my mother? Sigh. Elder Yu Qi clenched her teeth and sighed helplessly. Chapter 648. What's an oath stone? Su Chen asked. Although he did not know its specific use, if Moon Spirit was willing to trade it for a soul orb, its value would not be lower than the Blood Spirit Stone. Mo Rong said, Senior, the oath stone is a contract stone that can be used to make a vow. As long as you make a vow in front of the oath stone and submit to its master, the vow will take effect immediately. If you violate it, your soul will be destroyed. Hearing this, Su Chen was somewhat moved. If Mo Rong was telling the truth, with the oath stone, he would be able to recruit a large number of powerhouses. He would not have to worry about them betraying him. Could there be such a magical item in the world? Su Chen found it hard to believe and turned to Moon Spirit. Moon Spirit explained, Senior, the oath stone does have such an effect, but it can only be used 3 times at most. Regarding this explanation, Su Chen felt much more relieved in his heart. If the oath stone could be used infinitely, it would be too powerful. If it could only be used 3 times, it would make sense. Does the oath stone have an effect on saint-level powerhouses? Su Chen probed. Considering that the oath stone could only be used 3 times and each time was extremely precious, if he wanted to recruit subordinates, he would have to recruit some super powerhouses. Sage-level powerhouses would be the best. The oath stone works on people of any cultivation, but it has to be voluntary. You can't force it, Moon Spirit replied with certainty. Su Chen pondered for a moment, then opened the pet breeding space and communicated with the flaming phoenix. Little Flame, do you know about the oath stone? The oath stone was very important. He could not just listen to one side of the story. He had to confirm it. The flaming phoenix was stunned for a moment, then said excitedly, the oath stone is also known as the contract stone. As long as you make a vow in front of the oath stone, you can't go against it. Otherwise, you will be punished by the heavens and die without a burial place. After confirming the oath stone's effect, Su Chen smiled and said, I agree to this deal. Thank you, Senior. Moon Spirit was extremely excited. She quickly took out a blue gem and placed it in Su Chen's hand. Senior, this is the oath stone. Su Chen took a closer look at it and contacted Flaming Phoenix telepathically. Flaming Phoenix, is this an oath stone? Master, there's no mistaking it. It's the oath stone, Flaming Phoenix quickly replied. Su Chen sighed and opened Shinrua Hong's bag of holding. After rummaging through it, he found a soul pearl and gave it to Moon Spirit. Thank you, Senior. Moon Spirit expressed her gratitude once again. It's just a deal. You don't have to thank me. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said indifferently. Strictly speaking, he had profited greatly from this transaction. After all, oath stones were far more valuable than soul crystals. I'm a little curious. You should know the value of the oath stone. Why do you still want to trade? Su Chen asked, puzzled. After Yu Qing's death, Moon Spirit was very likely to become the next queen of the elf race. To become a queen, she would need loyal subordinates to assist her. The oath stone was very useful to her. Moon Spirit hesitated for a moment, then said truthfully, Senior, my mother's body was poisoned. Only the energy recovery pill can cure her. The main ingredient for the energy recovery pill is the soul pearl. Su Chen understood and said, the oath stone is far more valuable than the soul pearl. I won't take advantage of you. I don't want that golden longbow. Considering that Moon Spirit was very likely to become the next queen of the elf race, he wanted to leave a good impression on her. Perhaps he could get more benefits from the elf race in the future. Chapter 649. Thank you, Senior. Moon Spirit was overjoyed and thanked him from the bottom of her heart. The golden longbow was her main weapon. Once she lost it, her combat ability would be halved. Its importance was self-evident. Therefore, her gratitude to Su Chen came from the bottom of her heart. Su Chen did not mind too much. He still had a silver longbow in his hands. He could spend a few upgrade gems to upgrade it to a golden longbow. It would not be a big problem. It was also because of this that he did not ask for the golden longbow. Later, he took the oath stone and made Mo Rong swear an oath, successfully subduing him. Mo Rong was a level 8 cultivator and had the whereabouts of a level 9 power stone. It was worth it to spend one chance. Alright, things here are settled. Let's meet again if fate wills it. Su Chen smiled and said goodbye to Moon Spirit, then left with Mo Rong. Looking at Su Chen's back, Moon Spirit suddenly had an inexplicable impulse. She mustered her courage and shouted, Senior, may I know your name? Su Chen paused for a moment, then said plainly, Su Chen. With that, he left with Mo Rong without looking back. They quickly disappeared from Moon Spirit's sight. Princess, let's hurry back to the elves. Elder Yuqi walked to Moon Spirit's side and reminded her softly. Moon Spirit nodded and said blankly, Elder Yuqi, how old do you think Senior Su is this year? Elder Yuqi pondered for a moment, then said seriously, Princess, you should know that I have a special ability to see the age of a person's bones. He should be less than 20 years old. This? Moon Spirit took a deep breath. He was not even 20 years old, but he had the power to suppress a group of level 8 cultivators. This made her feel extremely shocked. Elder Seventh Feather sighed. He's still a level 7 full-time cultivator. He's not even 20 years old yet. This is unbelievable. Hearing this, Moon Spirit opened her mouth wide and fell into a deep daze. On the other side, Su Chen brought Mo Rong to Yinji City. Along the way, Su Chen asked, "Old Mo, since you know where the grade 9 power ore is, why don't you get it?" As a level 8 cultivator, Mo Rong could use a level 9 power stone. Even if he didn't use it, it would be a good choice to exchange it for other cultivation resources. Then why hasn't he made a move yet? This made Su Chen very puzzled. "Master, there's a level 10 golden python guarding the level 9 energy stone. I can't even get close to it," Mo Rong explained. Hearing this, Su Chen was slightly moved. Level 10 mutated beasts were hard to come by, and their bodies were full of treasures. Other things aside, a level 10 energy stone was already priceless. Moreover, when the super-devouring ancient gorilla mosquito reached level 9, it would be able to reach level 10 if it devoured it. Thinking of this, he hurriedly asked, "Where exactly are the level 9 energy ores?" "It's in a large mountain range on the undead continent," Mo Rong replied honestly. Su Chen nodded slightly and pondered. It was obviously not the right time to go to the undead continent to look for the level 9 energy ores. There were still many things waiting for him to deal with. The primordial spirit sculpted fruit tree, the wind spiritual stone, and the tree of life were the most important things. The matter of killing Han Sanqian could not be delayed for too long. If he could deal with these things properly, he could try to enter the undead continent. "Old Mo, is there a boundary passage to the undead continent nearby?" Su Chen continued asking. "Master, I went through a lot of hardships to escape here from the half-beast continent," Mo Rong immediately replied. Chapter 650. Escape? Or from the half-beast continent? Su Chen was even more confused. Mo Rong explained, "Master, the realm passage from the undead continent to the human continent has a level restriction. At most, only level 6 and below can pass through. However, the half-beast continent has a realm passage that allows level 8 cultivators to pass through. So to enter the undead continent, we have to enter the half-beast continent first?" Su Chen muttered. He was more familiar with the half-beast continent. He had killed many of their people before. Mo Rong nodded. "Then why did you escape here?" Su Chen asked. With Mo Rong's level 8 ability, there were very few people who could threaten him. What kind of strong person could force him to this point? What was the reason? Since he had subdued Mo Rong, he had to understand these things. Mo Rong seemed to recall the sad past. His face was gloomy. After a moment of silence, he gritted his teeth and said, "Master, it's like this. Other than me, there is also a good friend of mine, Xianxia, who knows the exact location of the level 9 energy stone. The most despicable thing is that Xianxia harmed me in order to keep the level 9 energy stone for himself. I was heavily injured and luckily escaped with my life. However, my wife and child were killed." "I see." Su Chen understood and comforted him. "Don't worry. When we enter the undead continent, I will help you get rid of Xianxia and avenge your wife and child." He hated people like Xianxia who betrayed his friends for his own selfish reasons. Moreover, Mo Rong was now one of his own. It was natural for him to avenge one of his own. "Thank you, Master." Mo Rong thanked sincerely. The reason why he dragged out an ignoble existence was mainly to avenge his wife and child. Now that he had Su Chen's guarantee, it was only a matter of time before he got his revenge. This was because he had witnessed Su Chen's strength with his own eyes. Although Xianxia was also very strong, he was like an ant in Su Chen's hands. "All right, let's speed up," Su Chen said in a low voice. The others were still in Yinji City. Even with Vajra Willow and the mechanical soldier, he was still worried. Behind them, the two of them sped up and entered Yinji City, heading straight for the auction. When they arrived at the front of the auction, they saw a large group of people outside. It was a sea of people. For so many people to appear, something big must have happened. Su Chen did not think too much about it. He squeezed in with Mo Rong. Unexpectedly, just as they squeezed in, they saw Chen Feng and the others confronting two men. Because he did not know what was going on, Su Chen was not in a hurry to show himself. At this moment, Chen Feng suppressed his anger and said coldly, "Ouyang Chengfeng, we obtained this item from the auction. I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to force a sale now, right?" "Brother Chen, there's something you don't know. That seal originally belonged to our Ouyang clan, but it was stolen by a thief." The one facing off against Chen Feng was a young man dressed in white with an imposing appearance. This person first spoke briefly, then said in a low voice, "Our Ouyang clan naturally has to take back what belongs to us. Since you obtained it from the auction, I won't let you suffer a loss. I'll give you all the energy stones you spent." Chen Feng shook his head and sneered, "Ouyang Chenghong, Brother Su bid for the seal. However, I advise you to give up. Brother Su will definitely not sell it to you." He knew clearly what kind of person Su Chen was. How could he give up something that Su Chen wanted? Chapter 651. Chen Feng could even imagine that once Su Chen returned, if Ouyang Chengfeng continued to pester him endlessly, he might lose his life. "Who is this Brother Su you're talking about? How dare he not give face to the Ouyang family?" Ouyang Chengfeng sneered. Hearing this, Chen Feng frowned slightly. Just as he was about to say something, Su Chen rubbed his nose and walked over. "Brother Su, you're back." Chen Feng was pleasantly surprised. "Su Chen." "Chen-gu." The others greeted Su Chen as well. Su Chen nodded slightly and looked at Ouyang Chengfeng. He said coldly, "I don't care who you are. I won't sell that seal. Leave now and don't humiliate yourself." The 5 Elements Heaven Dipper seal was a divine weapon and belonged to the Steel Willow. It was wishful thinking for Ouyang Chengfeng to ask for it. "Boy, are you threatening me?" Ouyang Chengfeng's face was cold. The Ouyang family was a well-known family in the mysterious heavenly mainland. When had they ever been looked down upon? Su Chen, a young boy, dared to talk to him in such a tone. He was not taking him seriously at all. As the genius of the younger generation of the Ouyang family, if he did not take this opportunity to get back at Ouyang Chengfeng, it would not only be him who would lose face, but the whole family. Therefore, he made up his mind to not only get the 5 Elements Heaven Dipper seal, but also to teach Su Chen a lesson. Threatening? Su Chen curled his lips and instantly released his mental strength, sweeping towards Ouyang Chengfeng. Spiritual energy. Ouyang Chengfeng was shocked when he felt an invisible force coming towards him. Just as he was trying to escape, he realized that his whole body was bound and he couldn't move. "What level is your spiritual energy?" Ouyang Chengfeng's heart skipped a beat. As a level 6 evolved being, he could not resist at all. This young man was definitely a spiritual reader master of level 7 or above. "How dare you!" The middle-aged man beside Ouyang Chengfeng was furious. He roared and rushed toward Su Chen. "Old Mo, teach him a lesson." Su Chen scolded softly and gave a look to Mo Rong who was beside him. The middle-aged man was only level 7. With Mo Rong's strength, it would not be a problem to crush him. Mo Rong rushed forward and punched the middle-aged man. Bang! Accompanied by an explosive sound, the middle-aged man's entire arm exploded. "Level the Evolver." Cries of surprise rang out from all around. "So strong." Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi were also somewhat moved. Since when did Chen Ge have such a powerful subordinate? Yang Hao and the others were puzzled. "You dare to injure a member of my Ouyang clan?" The corner of Ouyang Chengfeng's mouth twitched. A flame of hatred shot out from his eyes as he glared at Su Chen. "If you dare to blabber again, do you believe that I won't take your life?" Su Chen curled his lips and snorted coldly. "You still want to kill me? Do you dare?" Ouyang Chengfeng sneered. Although he was controlled by Su Chen, he was not as flustered as before. Instead, he was somewhat fearless. Chen Feng clearly felt the murderous intent from Su Chen. He quickly advised, "Brother Su, you can't kill this person." With Su Chen's character, no matter who it was, as long as they dared to offend him, he would not hesitate to kill them. However, Ouyang Chengfeng's identity was more special. Once he was killed, it would cause endless trouble. Why can't I kill him? Su Chen asked coldly. Chen Feng explained softly, Brother Su, the Ouyang clan is also one of the 7 major powers of Forgotten Autumn Mountain. They are not weak. Moreover, they have a saint-level ancestor in the sacred region. Chapter 652. Ah, kid, do you know who I am now? Ouyang Chengfeng laughed wildly. Then, his face darkened as he threatened, Kid, don't say that I didn't give you a chance. Hand over the seal, kneel before me and admit your mistake. Then, I might consider sparing your life. He thought that no one would dare to do anything to him with the support of a sage-level ancestor. Indeed, the reputation of a sage-level powerhouse was enough to intimidate most people. But it didn't work on Su Chen. Su Chen had seen all kinds of situations. He didn't even give face to the sage-level ancestor of the beast-taming tribe. How could Ouyang Chengfeng threaten him? Chen Feng knew that things weren't going well. Just as he was about to persuade him, he saw Su Chen's cold face and swallowed his words. Your words might bring a catastrophe to your family. Even your sage-level ancestor can't save you. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and walked slowly towards Ouyang Chengfeng. Ouyang Chengfeng was slightly stunned. At this moment, he clearly felt Su Chen's killing intent. But he still didn't believe that Su Chen would dare to do anything to him. He gritted his teeth and snorted, Kid, I'm afraid you don't know how powerful a sage-level powerhouse is. You think too highly of yourself. Su Chen didn't bother to talk to him anymore. He walked forward and punched. There was a loud boom. Ouyang Chengfeng's head was blasted into a mist of blood. The headless body swayed a few times and finally fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, the sound of people sucking in cold breaths could be heard. Then there was an uproar. Who is he? How dare he kill someone from the Ouyang family? Is he crazy? Keep your voice down. Do you want to die? How could someone who dares to kill Ouyang Chengfeng be a simple person? But the Ouyang family has a sage-level ancestor. He dares to kill him. Isn't he too unscrupulous? Chen Feng and Xia Jingyi looked at each other and clicked their tongues. They had seen Su Chen's ruthlessness before, but at this moment, they still felt a little shaken. How dare you kill our young master? The Ouyang family will not let you off. The middle-aged man with only one arm roared angrily. Noisy! Su Chen coldly snorted and casually shot out a wind blade, chopping off his head. Let's go. Let's walk around somewhere else. Su Chen greeted Yang Hao and the others calmly as if he had just done a very ordinary thing. Let's go. It's not suitable to stay here for too long. Wu Yang agreed. Unexpectedly, just as they were about to leave, a large group of armored guards walked towards them, blocking their way. Who killed people in my Yanji city? Come out by yourself. Among the armored guards, a middle-aged man in luxurious clothes walked out with a dignified aura. This person's gaze swept over Su Chen and the others as he shouted coldly. Brother Su Chen, his name is Lu Yang. He's a level 7 evolved being and also the mayor of Yanji City. Chen Feng walked to Su Chen's side and reminded him softly. Su Chen rubbed his nose and took 2 steps forward. He said indifferently, I killed him. Is there a problem? Seeing Su Chen's casual attitude, Lu Yang frowned slightly and snorted. Is this your first time in Yanji City? Don't you know that you can't kill people here? Su Chen curled his lips and laughed. As long as someone dares to provoke me, I will kill them. No matter where I am, it's the same. How arrogant! Seeing that Su Chen did not take him seriously, Lu Yang gritted his teeth and was about to scold him. However, a guard ran to his side and whispered a few words in his ear. Chapter 653. Hearing this, Lu Yang was shocked and hurriedly looked at the 2 corpses on the ground. When he saw the middle-aged man's face, his face changed completely. After being stunned for a while, he looked at Su Chen and asked in a trembling voice, Do you know who these 2 people are? Ouyang Chengfeng was regarded as one of the top talents in the younger generation of the Ouyang family. His death would affect the whole situation. If things went wrong, even he, the governor of Yanji City, would be implicated. To him, if he did not want to be implicated, the best way was to take down Su Qin and the rest and hand them over to the Ouyang family for punishment. However, since Su Qin could kill Ouyang Qingfeng and Ouyang Qingfeng, he must be very powerful. He did not have the slightest confidence that he could take down Su Qin and the rest. Aren't they just two good-for-nothings from the Ouyang family? You want to avenge them? Su Qin rubbed his nose and said casually, "Hiss." Lu Yang took a deep breath. At first, he suspected that Su Qin dared to kill Ouyang Qingfeng because he did not know who he was. But now, it seemed that Su Qin knew everything. Then why did he dare to kill them? Could it be that he was someone with a strong background? Thinking of this, Lu Yang forced a smile. "Friend, you must be joking. I'm not familiar with the Ouyang family. Why would I avenge them? If that's the case, don't block our way." Su Qin did not give Lu Yang any face and signaled him to move aside. Lu Yang was very angry. He was the governor of a city and Su Qin did not give him any face. However, when he thought of how Su Qin dared to kill Ouyang Qingfeng, he suppressed his anger and shouted to his subordinates, "Move aside." Under the watchful eyes of the onlookers, Su Qin and the others left the place. As the teleportation portal would only be activated in 3 days, Su Qin could not do anything else in this period of time. Thus, he brought the rest of them to wander around Yanji City. Just like in Tianwang City, they could eat whatever they wanted and buy whatever they wanted. They had a lot of fun. Su Qin also introduced Mo Rong to everyone and made it clear that he was one of them. Since they were on the same side, it meant that they would be together in the future. Wu Yang and the others greeted Mo Rong, and they quickly became familiar with each other. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. When the day of the teleportation array's activation arrived, Su Qin and the others arrived at the teleportation hall early. Due to the fact that the teleportation formation to enter the mysterious heavenly mainland would only be activated once in a while, there would be many people every time it was activated. At this moment, there were several hundred people gathered in the teleportation hall. Most of them were from other races. "Senior Brother Qin, how many people can this teleportation array transport at once?" Su Qin glanced around and asked Qin Feng. "It can transport at least 50 people. Qin Feng thought for a moment and replied, "Does that mean we have to teleport with the others?" Su Qin muttered with a frown. It was hard to guarantee that there wouldn't be any problems when teleporting with someone he didn't know. After all, he had been tricked by Han Sanqian once, so he had to be more careful. After pondering for a moment, Su Qin asked Qin Feng again, "Senior Brother Qin, how do we activate the teleportation portal?" Qin Feng explained, "It's actually very simple. You just have to install an energy stone and press the switch." Su Qin nodded slightly. Suddenly, an idea popped up in his mind. He then raised his voice and said to the crowd, "Everyone, after the teleportation portal is activated, I'll take the first teleportation slot. You can all wait for the second teleportation." As soon as he said that, the hall fell into a suffocating silence. Everyone looked at Su Qin in unison. Chapter 654. When they saw that the person who spoke was a young human, everyone in the hall was shocked. A mere human dared to be so presumptuous? Did he treat all the powerhouses as if they did not exist? Wasn't he too arrogant? "Brat, are you crazy? Do you think this is your home?" An undead clan member pointed at Su Qin's nose and scolded. Every time the teleportation portal was activated, there was a fixed number of teleportations. Su Qin had taken up the first teleportation slot, so there might not be anyone who could use it later. Therefore, everyone present was in an unusual atmosphere and glared at Su Qin. Some even had the thought of killing Su Qin on the spot. "Brother Su, let's forget about it," Qin Feng persuaded. Su Qin's way of doing things was too domineering, and it would easily incur the wrath of the crowd. Su Qin did not care about all this. He wanted to ensure the safety of the teleportation process. If anyone was not convinced, he would kill them. Anyway, in this world, whoever had the hardest fist would have the right to speak. "But, do you have an opinion on my suggestion?" Su Chen rubbed his nose and walked straight to the undead clan member. Nonsense! The undead clan member's face darkened, and he scolded, "Kid, you better give up on this idea. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." Human, the teleportation portal is owned by everyone. It's impossible for you to take it for yourself. At this time, another half-beast clan member scolded Su Chen coldly. Yes, this kid is too arrogant. He really thinks he's someone important. If he still doesn't know what's good for him, we'll kill him together. The others also had a fierce look and scolded Su Chen angrily. They looked like they wanted to skin Su Chen alive. Su Chen glanced at them coldly and smiled disdainfully. This is the human clan's mainland. Since when is it your turn to talk nonsense? Whoever dares to talk nonsense again, I'll kill him on the spot. The moment he said that, the entire hall fell into silence again. Everyone was dumbfounded. In their opinion, Su Chen was not simply arrogant. He was clearly courting death. There were hundreds of alien race experts in the hall. Su Chen's words had offended all of them. This level of arrogance was rarely seen in the world. After a long while, the strange races regained their senses and stared coldly at Su Chen. The hall was instantly filled with a strong murderous aura. Just as the swords were about to be drawn, a loud and clear voice echoed in the hall. This is the teleportation hall, not a place for you to behave atrociously. Everyone stop. As soon as he finished speaking, a middle-aged man with a dignified aura slowly walked over with vigorous steps. This person was none other than the city lord of Yanji City, Lu Yang. Lu Yang was a level 7 cultivator and also a castellan, so he had a certain degree of deterrence. The hall instantly quieted down. City Lord Lu, this brat wants to take the teleportation spot. You have to be the judge. When Lu Yang came closer, the undying clan member who had scolded Su Chen previously took the lead to complain about Su Chen. There are rules in the teleportation portal. Who dares to be so arrogant? Lu Yang's face was cold as he looked in the direction of the undying clan member's finger. When he saw that it was Su Chen, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. He originally wanted to scold Su Chen, but he swallowed back the words he wanted to say. "Friend, what you're doing is against the rules, right?" Lu Yang said gently. If anyone else dared to cause trouble here, he would have killed them on the spot. However, Su Chen was not an ordinary person. He even dared to kill someone from the Ouyang family. In the face of such a person, he did not dare to be impudent. Chapter 655. Rules are made by people. It's okay to change them once in a while. Su Chen chuckled, then snorted coldly. Of course, once the rules are changed, there will definitely be people who are unhappy. However, this is a small problem. If there's one who's unhappy, I'll kill that one. If there's a group of people who are unhappy, I'll kill a group of them. Lu Yang opened his mouth slightly and stared blankly at Su Chen. He was speechless for a long time. He had seen many arrogant people, but it was the first time he had seen someone as unscrupulous as Su Chen. Su Chen was very strong, he knew this very well. However, there were also many strong people in the hall. Was he not afraid of being attacked by a group? Arrogant, do you think you're in existence beyond level 10? Everyone, let's attack together and kill this arrogant human. As soon as Su Chen finished speaking, the group of mutated people started to scold him again. The murderous aura in the hall became even thicker. Chen Feng and the others were a little nervous and were ready to attack. City Lord Lu, you've seen it too. It's not that we don't want to give you face, but this kid is too arrogant. If we don't kill him, we won't be able to appease the anger of the people. A cruel smile appeared on the undead race's face, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Lu Yang was in a difficult position and did not know what to say. However, at this moment, Su Chen locked onto the undead race and sneered coldly. Since you're the one who can escape, I'll start with you. As soon as he finished speaking, he released his mind power and swept it over. Mind power? The undead race suddenly felt an unparalleled invisible force crushing toward him. When he realized that it was mind power, it was already too late. He was only a level 5 evolved person. How could he resist Su Chen's mind power that was comparable to level 8? There was a loud bang. The undead race's entire body exploded and turned into a pile of debris. What terrifying strength! There were exclamations from all around. Level 8 mind power. Lu Yang clicked his tongue, his heart trembling slightly. Seeing the undead tribesmen being killed without being able to put up any resistance, the group of strange races started to feel uneasy. The way they looked at Su Chen changed from their initial disdain and anger to deep reverence. The half-beast man who had insulted Su Chen before was scared out of his wits. He was also a level 5 evolver. If Su Chen wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as killing an ant. Thinking of this, he slowly retreated, trying to hide in the crowd and out of Su Chen's sight. However, how could his every move escape Su Chen's eyes? Su Chen wanted to make an example out of them, and the beastmen were the best targets. A wave of mental strength swept out silently and instantly bound the undead clan member. "Senior, please spare my life." The beastman turned pale and begged loudly for mercy. Su Chen was unmoved. Just as he was about to kill the beastman, a tall and rough-looking beastman suddenly jumped out from the side. He clenched his fist and punched the air, but it completely destroyed Su Chen's mental strength. The level 5 beastman was lucky to escape with his life. He took a deep breath and bowed to the rough-looking beastman. "Master Zhongding, thank you for saving my life." Zhongding ignored him and stared at Su Chen. He sneered. "Human, do you think you can do whatever you want just because you're a level 8 telekinesis master? Do you really think we beastmen are easy to bully? You're right. You strange races are all ants in my eyes. I can bully you however I want." Su Chen mocked. Then, he turned his gaze to the level 5 beastman. His eyes were cold. "If I want to kill someone, no one can stop me." Chapter 656. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Chen turned into a bolt of lightning and charged towards the half-orc clan member who had advanced by 5%. "How dare you!" Zhongding was enraged. He blocked in front of the half-beastman and punched out. Su Chen did not slow down or change his direction. When Zhongding's punch was about to hit him, a purple glow flashed under his feet. His speed suddenly increased, and he passed through the punch like a phantom. Not good. Zhongding punched the air and quickly turned around. When he saw Su Chen strangling the half-beastman with one hand, his face turned cold. "A piece of trash like you wants to stop me from killing?" Su Chen smirked and flew out of the hall with the level 5 half-beastman in tow. Zhongding was a level 8 evolver, so it was not difficult to kill him. However, considering that there was a teleportation portal in the hall, Lin Huang was worried that it would be damaged, so he might as well lure him out. "Where do you think you're going?" Zhongding roared and followed closely behind Su Chen. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had arrived outside the hall. The rest of the people followed them out. "Human, let go of my tribesmen, or I will kill you today." Zhongding glared at Su Chen and threatened. As a level 8 evolver, he was a famous expert in the half-beastman race. If he could not even save one of his tribesmen, how could he raise his head in the future? "Gotcha!" What answered him was the crisp sound of bones breaking. Su Chen broke the half-beastman's neck and threw him to the ground. "I've said it before. If I want to kill someone, no one can stop me, let alone a piece of trash like you." Since they had already come out of the hall, Su Chen had nothing to worry about. "I want you to die." Zhongding was like an erupting volcano, and a thick broadsword had appeared in his hand. At this moment, he was flying towards Su Chen with the broadsword in his hand. Before the person arrived, a violent murderous aura swept out, causing Su Chen's clothes to flutter in the wind. The surrounding onlookers could feel the killing intent, and they couldn't help but step back. "You overestimate yourself." The corners of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly, and a pitch-black saber suddenly appeared in his hand. After pouring a thunder attribute spell into the saber, he swept it out horizontally. Rumble, crack. Accompanied by a thunderous roar, a blue torrent blasted out from the saber. The terrifying killing intent of lightning spread out, giving people the feeling that they would be smashed into pieces if they came into contact with it. Zhong Ding felt it even more deeply, and the thought of escaping immediately arose in his heart. But at this point, it was already impossible to dismount, and it was already too late to escape. "I'll kill you!" Zhong Ding roared and swung his broadsword at the incoming blue torrent. There was a loud explosion. The long saber in Zhong Ding's hand shattered inch by inch. As for his body, it was completely charred, and his appearance could not be seen at all. The corners of Zhong Ding's mouth twitched slightly, and his voice was as soft as a mosquito. However, before he could make a sound, his head was chopped off by Su Chen's wind blade. Bang! As Zhong Ding's head fell to the ground, the surroundings fell into a suffocating silence. Everyone stared at Su Chen with their eyes wide open. Their eyes were filled with a mixture of fear and disbelief. They could never have imagined that a level 8 half-beast powerhouse would be easily killed by a human. There was no need to mention how powerful this human was. What was more terrifying was that he was a full-time cultivator. Moreover, each of his professions had reached level 7. This was what really shocked them. You're tuning in to the Wandering Hero YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.